This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately.
What's going on, freaks? All right. Oh, I think it's this thing. There we go. Well, how's it going? I don't know if it's the response, but there's a response inside of another document, so I guess we'll have to see how that goes. I'm not sure if you guys watched I just put a 360-degree video out there. And we are now 5 days from the end of the month, okay? So we've been really struggling here of late, and I hope that some of you, if you can afford it, would like to help support the channel to allow us to keep doing what we're doing. And yes, this is right at the start of the show, because it is way behind. Anyways, we've got the, let me go to this next. This is the one that's on YouTube. This in this software program, it's even clearer because it's a, what do you call it? It's 570, like 5.7K or 3 or something. I can't remember exactly what it was. But YouTube only takes 4K. That's right, I'm about to rage quit, Lori. About to rage quit. So anyways, this is what it looks like when it's really clear. YouTube has only got like 4K. And look, you know, so Kelsey's with us. See, she's right there. Even has her baby. And she said, hey, I'll take you out there. And I was like, are you sure you want to? And she said, yeah, no. She's been there a whole bunch of times. She said there was a trail over here. So there's the start of the bridge. And it goes around the corner here, and it's really like a pretty worn, well-worn path over here. So again, you can see the start of the bridge is over here to the right. This is just a way that people started walking around. It has nothing to do with the crime. Nobody walked that way. It has nothing to do with it whatsoever. A lot of people tried to claim that somehow the killer took the girls back across the whole length of the bridge and then went this way to avoid the water, but it's just not true. Hey, Crystal, I don't care. Go do whatever you got to do, Crystal. It's just not interesting listening to you. Yeah. What an idiot. Shows up to a show 2 minutes in and bitches. Oh, God. Now look in the mirror, for God's sakes. All right, anyways, here we go. So right down there, I basically, let me see if I pull up the map here. Hold on. What happened to Google Earth? Oh, there it is. It got replaced way over there. Jesus, these people that come in here. Disgusting. the trolls. Yeah, so it kind of looks like this time of year. And so let me just make it go back to the 2017. And then in the video here, I think this is about when it starts turning here. And so probably right around, we're kind of coming in around right around there at that point. I just kind of walk ahead of them. They don't like to be on the camera as much, so I'm just holding the 360-degree camera, wait a little bit. And it's pretty wide open. I mean, you can see a lot farther than I was thinking you could see in these woods here. Yeah, it's not the crime scene yet. I mean, you walk to it. There was an animal, some kind of snake or something there. So this is along the high, you can see how far the water is down there. It's way down there. So this is probably somewhere like around this area at this point. High up. Well, I mean, it's not really that interesting. It just means it's not as dense as we thought it was during the regular time part of the year. But when there's no leaves, it's absolutely not dense at all. You can see a lot further. So she actually has her baby in the little thing right there in the front pack. Pretty cute. Gotta be honest with you there. Isn't it cool how you can just look around though, like that? It's amazing. Straight up in the air. And then now you can see back over here how there's this big dip down. And, you know, that's Kelsey right there. She's the one, the older sister of Libby, who dropped them off that day. And we're friends. And people go, oh, that's creepy. Oh, Gray, it's creepy. Great, creepy, creepy, creepy. I mean, what a bunch of nut jobs, you know? Absolute crazy people out there, you guys. I think, you know what's creepier? Is that you thought it was creepy. That means you think of those things. Weird stuff like that, you know? Yeah. Anyway, so here's a, there's this really steep ravine here. It's like at least 45 degrees 45 degree angle right there. I don't know. I just think it's creepy that I'm friends with her, you know? You know, I don't know. I mean, I let her, CrimeCon back in, New Orleans, I let her take over the mic, and then she seemed to really like it, so I used some of the funds that I make here and bought her the whole podcast setup, and she used it for a while to get her voice out there. And then, you know, we're just, you know, friends, like on Facebook and so forth. I've met her in person, I think, 3 times. at 2 different crime cons and then on this trip right here. Anyways, that hill there is so steep. I mean, you look at it like that, that's got to be a 45-degree angle. So at this point, if we just look at the map here, and by the way, we just laugh when we're talking about all the trolls and idiots out there. It's the same for her as everybody else. So I think it. Let me see if I can make it out. It seems like it's probably right down like this. So that spot is very close to where they have a pin here, or that's where law enforcement's coordinates were, right there. Right in that area. And so I think I made it, let's just see. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that just looking at that picture there, it could be right here too. Yeah. So you got that, and then there's this. So either way, it definitely isn't over here. So it's right around in this area. I think I'm down here and I'm standing about right around in this area currently. And you can see the water right there. See, now we're not that high anymore. This comes out right at the water. And I didn't make it all the way to the crime scene because there's poison oak and ivy out there, or whichever one. I don't remember which one it is. And you can see the ground's getting more and more covered with different things. And further ahead, you can see that there's even more stuff. But I think I can see generally where it was. I kind of wish I didn't even know we were going to be going to the crime scene whatsoever on this trip. But she said, oh, I can take you out there that back way there. And so I didn't let her come down. Like, they're way up this hill up here still because it's so steep right there. So you can see there's like a high there and a high here. And then, let's see, I think I stopped right around this area. So the crime scene is right over here, in my opinion. Just right back through the woods and right there. This spot here, though, is almost exactly where law enforcement has that pin. I mean, I'm probably about right in this area here. Wish I could see that better. It's got to be an older one. I use a 2012. There you go. That's it right there. Okay. Yeah, so I'm really close. Here's that ravine right here. That one you can see it really clearly. So it's right there, and let me go back a little bit. Yeah, so that would have been right here. And so then you climb up again. I think I made it to right in this area. So the crime scenes, you'll see, like, there you go looking for the water's right there on the right. Thank you, Lillian. Okay, so there's that little ravine again. We'll just see how far we walk from that about. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so this is almost exactly where they have their pin. Because if we go back up here, and that's right there. I probably walked right to here. And so I was guessing about 50 yards from. And that's really, 50, about 60 yards away, probably. about 60 yards away from the crime scene, and that's right there. I mean, I actually think that these trees, this clump of trees right in this area, are the crime scene right there. Right there. So, there you have it, you guys. That was the explanation of the video that you're seeing on the screen right now, or you were seeing. Let's see. Gotta get some. I'll be reading these documents here in a second. I don't know why they have a different pin. It's not their pin area isn't correct. I've seen that's actually at the edge of the yellow tape on outside of the yellow tape that they have. So I think it's just sort of the general area. They probably didn't want to put exactly where it was so that people wouldn't go out there. To the exact spot. All right. No, my thoughts haven't changed at all. It was exactly how I was thinking in my head because I've covered it so many times with videos. You know, it's just a little bit more hilly, you know, kind of like walking around. But I mean, I've even heard that described, so it really wasn't. It wasn't really. It wasn't anything different for me. All right, you guys. So there's the stream goal. Right, so I'm putting it back on the screen because last night it was half of that, so I'm not sure what the situation is with everybody, but I'm doing the same shows that I've been doing, but driving thousands of miles. Yeah. All right. All these people talking about the bogus document is very frustrating. Yeah, well, that's what they like to do. That's what they do. It's entertaining for them. I'm trying to get this. Something's not working here. Oh, there's the super freaks. I was trying to get the super freaks up there. Thanks. A blank slate. Yep. All right. So this might have been the first document of the day. There's two different sets of documents. This one is the state response to defendant's motion for broadcasting order. So we'll do that one first. Yeah, well, I wasn't talking to you, no boots, was I? What I always say is, if you can't afford to help the channel, I don't want you to. It's just all of a sudden, right when I go to Delphi, everything just shut off as if that was sort of, you know, who the hell knows? Very frustrating. All right, anyways, now comes the state of Indiana by prosecuting attorney Nicholas McClellan and respectfully responds to the defendant's motion for broadcasting order. The state would, of course, defer to the court's discretion concerning this matter and trust that the court will rule in the best interests of justice, but would notify the court that the state was serious concerns regarding the defendant's motion for broadcasting order and when asked for the court to consider the following. Thanks, Amber Maiden. One, that on September 13th, 2023, the defendant filed a motion for broadcasting order to allow cameras in the courtroom for all future courtroom proceedings pursuant to Rule 2.17. So they want it in there that the defense is asking the court to broadcast both the trial and the pre-trial proceedings in their entirety. Thanks, Cindy J. and Eugenie. All right. First, the state would ask the court to consider that previously this court has expressed a concern about extrajudicial grandstanding, which led to the issuance of a gag order by the court on the court's own motion on December 2nd, 2022, in response to the press release issued by the defense. Yeah, so the defense has been leaking and putting out a bunch of garbage over and over and over again. And, you know, the weirdest part is there's a guy named Robert Lindsay who has this blog out there with just some of the most ridiculous, god-awful bullcrap you've ever seen in your entire life. And apparently he's saying that the defense was using some of his work. How crazy is that? I told you guys. Didn't I tell you? Wow, thanks everybody. Hey, thanks Your Gypsy, Joel Sane, and Dawn.
I'll be back if you want me to.
But didn't I tell you guys right at the beginning that the defense is using social media hacks to put together some crazy scheming case, just a rebuttal or whatever the hell they're doing. I mean, just it's the sickest thing I've ever seen. These are some of the worst people that society has to offer. Now you might go, I don't know, Gray, they just have a different opinion. Gee. Well, that's not really what it is, okay? That's not really what it is. They are disgusting people. Go look at what they say. These people attack the family for years and years and years. And even when it's a quote Odinites or freaking Richard Allen, they're still trying to figure out a way to work the family in because they can't let that go. These are disgusting people, and some of you watch them and probably comment under their videos like they're so great and give them like encouragement to make more of those. And you're just as bad as they are. I don't like to know boots, that's why. Because you'll go watch it and, you know, they get a view out of it. Why the hell would I do that? Yeah, we all know what they're trying to do, Allison. There isn't, you know, nobody's confused what the defense is trying to do. They're trying to muddy up the waters. Look at all the idiots out there that were believing in the Odin theory. Like there's something there, you guys. Ooh, look how creepy this is, everybody. It's gotta be the Odinites. And how about this? I won't say people are idiots that believe that. I'll call them naive, very gullible people, and you need to reevaluate yourself. The second I saw that, what did I say? Oh God, what a load of crap. This has been around since the beginning. And now we're going full circle again for all the new people that have jumped in. Thanks, Marion Olson. Yeah. Well, they might be smart at something else, you know, so I can't discredit them completely. Hey, that's right. I like being back. I always feel like I'm... Now, when I'm on the road doing it, I feel like, hey, there's the freaks again, but it's something's missing, you know. Feels like when we do these live streams where I'm on the screen talking, you know. Seems like it works better, but I feel like I need to be able to go out and do those things. So I'd like it to be, I wish it was the same, you know, because it's just so, you know, I guess what it is I'm doing these shows live here, and we always we do really well on reaching the goals and having good nights so that I can continue to do what I'm doing and also be able to give a lot of money. I just picked up another crazy case here. We're going to do another DNA one, right, you guys? So we're going to have 14 cases that we're funding fully for identifying Jane and John Doe. Hey, thanks LM and Kathy Chapin. So if you're here, let me tell you about this one that we're about to do. Also, might not cost that much. So Misty sent it to me earlier. I'll pull out the. We're looking into doing it, but this is one like she's contacting the people right now. All right, so here, look at this one. It's NCMEC, National Center for Missing Exploited Children, number 1339455. White, Caucasian. I don't know why it's in this system because they don't really know much about it. Cannot determine, cannot estimate. Sterling Heights, Michigan. Pieces of human flesh found in sewer. I mean, is that the craziest thing you've ever seen? I mean, pieces of human flesh just found floating around in a sewer, but they have that flesh, for lack of a better term, and we are going to identify who that is. Brown hair they had, and that's basically it. All right? So we're going to solve the mystery, and they deserve to have their name back like everybody else. Thank you, Janet Drums, and also Kathy Chapin up there, and LM, and Tamster. All right, but I think those ones are interesting, right? Who knows what happened there?
Drum, red apple, drum.
Yeah, David. Yeah, I always say that. I almost feel like when people type in, Gray, I'm 72 and on Social Security, I'm sorry I can't give very much. It's as if they're you're not listening to what I'm saying. If you can't afford it, I do not want you sending in a dime, okay? In fact, I mean, I don't want you to, okay? I mean, that's the thing. So you don't need to, everybody that can't afford it, you don't need to type in to let everybody know that you can't afford it. You know, that's sort of a weird, I don't really understand that sort of mentality and reality. Is it almost feels like there are people that are sent here to do that from a specific place. Because they say almost exactly the same. Gray forces people on Social Security to send in money. That's what these people say online. Okay, have any of you ever seen me do that? Force somebody on Social Security to send in money? And the answer is no. Okay, so it's just one of those things where they say this to spread out this false information, and then you got somebody up above saying exactly what they say, so then you sort of wonder if they came from there, right? I mean, it's just a guess or a hunch, you know. Yeah, everybody, yeah, obviously. You know, if times are rough and you can't help, then you're still here watching the show, and then maybe someday in the future, if you can, great. If not, just keep on watching. You're still a freak regardless. Doesn't matter. I just try on my show on a nightly basis to keep it up because of all the amazing stuff that we've done on the side, and you know, people actually count on us. You know, that's the thing. You know, it's like, hey, great, can you do this one? Well, yeah, you know, I want to say yes to all of them, right? That's the thing. Yeah, I mean, sharing makes other people watch, you know. But there's a lot of people that watch that aren't really sort of invested in or part of what we're doing. Like they don't really want to be. They're just sort of here to watch and see what you're doing, where there's the freaks that are here a lot of, like, often helping out. All right, anyways, let's get back to this. So this is the state response to defendant's motion for broadcasting order. And then we were on 3. First, the state should ask the court to consider that previously this court has expressed a concern that extrajudicial grandstanding, which led to the issuance of the gag order by the court on the court's own motion on December 2nd, 2022, in response to the press release issued by the defense. This is September 25th, this article here, or motion here. That the defense team has continued this extrajudicial grandstanding throughout their motions, including the emergency motion to modify safekeeping order filed April 5th, 2023, and most recently with their verified motion for immediate transfer of custody and the motion for Frank's hearing. So they're bringing that up with attached memorandum in support, all filed on September 18th, 2023. That the broadcasting of pretrial and trial proceedings create the same concerns, if not more, given that an attorney is immune from libel proceedings for statements made in open court. That defense counsel continues to use inflammatory language in pleadings, including statements that are simply not true, and there's no reason to think they will not continue to use supercilious language in court designed as sound bites for recording on the national stage. For example, the language used by defense describing the conditions under which Mr. Allen has been forced to endure are akin to that of a prisoner of war. See, I actually think, as I've been saying since that document was released, when I read 10 pages of it at that point, that it was the most childishly sarcastic, bogus sounding document I've ever read that's supposedly an official document. Right? Yeah, well, let us get to it, Matthews. You'll just have to let us get to it. All right, thanks. Now, the defense has filed a 136-page memorandum in support of the Franks hearing, in which only 13 pages refers to any allegations relevant to the question of Frank's inquiry. The remaining 90% of the memorandum outlines its fanciful defense for social media to devour. God, it's exact. Didn't I say exactly this stuff, you guys? That the defense has already moved for a change of venue, citing prejudicial publicity, and if the court were to allow broadcasting of pretrial hearings, that publicity would be pervasive and, as the defendant notes, will be without boundaries given the worldwide interest in the proceedings. So the weird part is like, I was on court TV, but it's strange how, like, the next day they gave so much time to the wacko who has a book on Ron Logan and thinks Ron Logan's the guy on the bridge. Yeah, anything that's different than some ho-hum guy telling you the reality, man. That defense has filed its that the defense has already moved for a change of venue, citing prejudicial publicity, and if the court were to allow broadcasting of pretrial hearings, that publicity would be pervasive, and, as the defendant notes, will be without boundaries given the worldwide interest in the proceedings. That the state believes that the duty of managing the broadcast media that is imposed on the court may become distracting, considering the number of media outlets that may request access to the broadcast, and the fact that the judges that the judge is in an unfamiliar courtroom, the length of complexity of the case, the duty to protect the jurors' identities, and the sensitive content that will be presented at the court and pretrial hearings. Hey, thanks, Robert Richburg. Always say this, but it's true. You have the best Delphi coverage. Gray, really enjoy your driving videos, taking apart that jokes Yeah,
Vodka?
yeah, really. It is a joke. But hey, thank you. Appreciate it.
I always say this, but it's true. You have the best Delphi coverage. Great.
I thought that was so fun.
Driving bits taking apart.
The 2-hour,
Doc too.
the 2-hour driving video the other day. Like 2 hours, we didn't really lose connection driving from. God, where the hell was that? Like, I think it was from somewhere after Utah and into Idaho somewhere. There was still this like 2-hour window where we were able to live stream and just I couldn't watch it perfectly because I'm driving, but you're just watching outside the vehicle, all these crazy places with nobody there at all. Basically a flat earther's dream. That the state believes that these hurdles may also have a negative impact on the participants in the proceedings and impair the dignity of the trial. That the defense has already expressed its intent to attack not only evidence but the credibility of those who investigated the case, which will allow the defense team to grandstand on camera about the imagined bad motives of the state actors. This is put on display in the defense memorandum in support. See, you know what? Here's the thing. I get why the prosecution now doesn't want this televised. Because they don't believe the defense will act in good faith and will bring up some of the same garbage to the public. And normally the prosecution doesn't mind things being televised, but you can tell these people are a specific way. This is put on display in the defense memorandum in support of an accused motion for Frank's hearing, where the defense spends much of its time disparaging not the evidence, but the state. God, man. This is exactly what I was saying. All this stuff. They just really... They seem to be pretending there's a conspiracy theory with all of the higher-ups in the police department, almost like they're all part of Odinism. Or the whatever you want to call it. Where the defense spends much of its time disparaging not the evidence, but the state, the investigators, and other state actors. This does nothing to increase public confidence in the system. That given the layout of the courtroom, the state has concerns that the cameras in the courtroom, those cameras may broadcast the jurors, witnesses who are minors, attorney-client communications, and materials on counsel tables. That the state believes the defendant's statements that the jurisprudence of the state of Indiana will be scrutinized in a manner that is unusual and rare in Indiana courts because of the circumstances surrounding this case is unprecedented. That the defendant's claims that the Community Relations Committee of the Judicial Conference of Indiana favored the COSCA article favorably is false. The COSCA article makes several communications to courts on how to build public trust and confidence, including expanding transparency, increasing social media presence, publishing summaries of court decisions directed to a general public audience, and continued civics. This is for... the cameras have never been allowed in Carroll County Circuit Court during any proceedings, and the state has concerns about a case of this magnitude being the pilot case in which cameras are allowed to record proceedings. I think there isn't any of us out there that doesn't want it to be a trial where you can watch it on television. All right, like when I say want, I mean you want to watch it, right? Now you might say, well, I can see why they didn't want to why they don't want it to be publicized, but I think every single person that's been following this case wants it televised. You just want it to be done the right way, where you don't see the jurors, maybe not the kids. You can still hear their, Like if any kids testify, you still want to hear their voices, right? Yeah. 16, that the defense notes that the size of the courtroom lends itself to many onlookers, meaning that there is plenty of room for legacy press to attend and report the activities of the court. In fact, the press has widely accurately and without incident covered the pretrial proceedings thus far without issue. There is no reason to believe that the media could not continue to effectively report to the public the pretrial proceedings and trial. That having cameras in the courtroom makes it different to have a separation of witnesses for any testimony and witnesses plan to give. And the state is concerned that witnesses may inadvertently violate any separation of witness order due to the potential pervasiveness of media related to the case, creating issues with the admissibility or reliability of their evidence. That broadcasting the evidence out to the public allows for the potential of members of the public seeing gruesome images of the deaths of 2 little girls, also seeing... let's see. There must have been something back there. I think I missed something. 2 little girls also seeing the toll that it takes on the family to see the tragedy play out in court. That allowing cameras in such a highly publicized and sensationalized case runs the risk of creating a circus atmosphere, both in person and online, where 15-second clips taken out of context can race around the world in seconds, giving an inaccurate impression of the actual evidence and conduct of court proceedings. Yeah. So, well, you know that the defense would have their little, press people do exactly that. That allegations that the fact that families have voluntarily taken to social media and other media outlets somehow abrogates their right to privacy is unfair. The family used those outlets to help generate tips and clues so that law enforcement could arrest the person responsible for this. That is a far cry from having the family members on camera as they relive the worst day of their lives and see evidence of this nature presented to the court. That the state does not does not agree with the defendant's theory that having cameras in the courtroom will reduce unpredictable behavior from witness and other participants. The state believes that having cameras in the court will give participants in the courtroom a nationwide platform to further their own agenda, to build their brand, promote whatever platform they want, and generally showboat instead of focus on presenting the evidence in a professional, concise manner. That the pilot program of Indiana were conducted prior to the popularity of artificial intelligence software that allows for the creation of deep fakes that intentionally and undetectably can alter the things that are said in court, giving the that's kind of a weird thing to bring up in here, giving the inaccurate impression of the actual business of the court. Given the highly sensationalized nature of the coverage of this case, this is a concern the court would consider in exercising its discretion. Wherefore the state would ask the court to consider these points when making its decision on whether or not to broadcast future pretrial hearings and the trial in this manner. I mean, they could try to do a pretrial hearing and see how it goes, right? Yeah, I think that bringing up the deep fake, it's a real thing, but it's just kind of a, so almost sounds a little bit like defense team, But here's the thing: the wackos that are helping the defense are exactly those types of people. They're the types that might use something like that. Okay, so that, I guess it's kind of sounds crazy, but maybe it's not as crazy as it would seem. Hey, thanks, Lillian. Appreciate that. And also Nicole. And Lillian said, thank you for all your hard work and dedication you've done. Well, thank you. And then I got a new Patreon. That's cool. Thank you, Nicole. All right. Hold on. Oh, cool. That's very cool, Lisa Murphy. Good luck out there. And thanks, Tamster. Yeah, it's just there's so many people though. That the problem is
awful worried about the public seeing this trial. It's a fairly normal thing now. Think they'd want the public to see their ironclad case.
yeah, I don't look at it like that. I look at it how crazy the defense is, how absolutely, throwing everything at the wind. They seem like they're a group of people that would do the most ludicrous things known to man. Yeah, I mean what Baba says. Personally, I think they should televise it. If someone does anything stupid, toss it. Yeah, but it's not. That's not the part that's stupid. See, people would take what they see and hear and come up with completely ridiculous tunnel vision versions of what was said and create huge problems out there. That's what they do. So, I mean, I want it to be televised, but given the depths that this wacko defense team is using, I think they're an embarrassment to mankind. The people working with them and themselves are absolute jokes. Okay, and that's my opinion. All right. Now you might go, I don't know, Gray. They seem really clever with their. No, they're a bunch of sick people. Just remember back to the part where they kept saying over and over how Abby was still alive, and the guy did this, and then she was still alive, and then the guy did this. They're almost kind of creepy, like whoever allowed those types of things to be put in that document are creepy people. Yeah, but how can you find somebody for their perception? They just say, well, I perceived it like this. Yeah. So anyways, let's look at this one. So this one here does seem like it's more of a response here. I don't know if this is the response, but let's go through this one. State's objection to defendant motion to suppress. Now comes the state of Indiana by prosecuting attorney Nicholas McLean. Okay, down here. That on May 19th, 2023, the defendant filed a motion to suppress the evidence seized as a result of the search warrant executed on the home of the defendant. That on September 13th, 2023, the defendant filed an amended motion to suppress the evidence seized as a result of the search warrant executed on the home of the defendant. Number 3, that the defense alleges that the search warrant is unconstitutional because the issuance of the search warrant was a result of the search warrant was a result of an improper ex parte application in that the affiant Sheriff Tony Liggett failed to advise the judge of material faces and made false and misleading representations with reckless disregard. Hold on, I gotta get some water. let's see. Trying to read some of these comments. Yeah. So here's the thing, everybody. Richard Allen is the killer. Just want to let you know again. Don't be fooled by anybody. Richard Allen is the killer in this case. It's not tunnel vision. It's literally he is the guy that did it. All right. There may be a connection with Kagan Klein, maybe the Dropbox or something. We don't know, but I think I keep thinking there is because it just seems too coincidental. Well, that's what I was saying earlier, Beth, is there's people that just started following the case and they're going to hear this stuff and dig into it, you know? Like Chasing Truth doesn't really, I mean, we covered it one time on that other channel. She doesn't really know it, so she picks it up and goes, oh my God, do you guys see this? Oh, you know, and it's like, it's total garbage, right? It's complete, just sensationalistic trash. And I think when we read through this, I just saw a little bit of it. I didn't read this before the show. I just read like a couple of paragraphs, and it sounds exactly how I've been saying. All right, so I don't know if that's something to be proud of or what the hell that is. It's just like, this is it. I mean, I think when you think through things rational, like a rational human being, you actually come up with the right things. That on September 13th, the defendant filed an amended motion to suppress the evidence seized as a result of the search warrant executed on the home of the defendant. That the defense alleges that the search warrant is unconstitutional because the issuance of the search warrant was a result of an improper ex parte application and that the affiant, Sheriff Tony Liggett, failed to advise the judge of material faces and made false and misleading representations with reckless disregard for the truth, and that without these false and misleading representations and omissions, the search warrant would not have been issued. That's what they're telling us, what the defense claimed right there. This is commonly referred to as a Franks versus Delaware argument from Franks versus Delaware. That per the Franks case, the defense attack must be based on deliberate falsehood. There's a comment in here I didn't like that the prosecution made, though. On this next, I think this is where I stopped reading right here. Or acts of reckless disregard for the truth. So what it is, I'll just read that part again. That per the Franks case, the defense's attack must be based on deliberate falsehood or acts of reckless disregard for the truth, and those allegations must be accompanied by an offer of proof that the claim should point out specifically the portion of the warrant affidavit that is claimed to be false, accompanied by a statement of supporting reasons. I thought they sort of did that on the witness statements. That further, this should be supported by the affidavits of sworn statements or other reliable statements from witnesses or an explanation of their absence. That the defense has filed such a memorandum outlining their beliefs of what was admitted as false. That once again, while the memorandum is colorful, dramatic, and highly unprofessional, gosh, who said that? God, who said that within 3 minutes after reading it? Who the hell said that? God, just gonna have to try to remember. It's hard to remember that one. Huh. Let's see. I mean, that's just. And then you got people. I don't know, Gray. I think it's really quite. You're wrong. Okay, this was a joke. Is not completely true. Okay, so that once again, while the memorandum is colorful, dramatic, and highly unprofessional. See, this isn't a very strong statement right here, though. Right here. So it says that once again, while the memorandum is colorful, dramatic, and highly unprofessional, It is not completely true. Well, you know, saying not completely true means that some of it's true, just not all of it. You know, so then, okay, well, what part, you know, it could just be that, yes, at one point somebody might have said something, but then it was changed later by them too. Like once we pointed out and showed a picture of Richard Allen to Sue, she said, oh, yeah, that's him. Shit. Wow, okay. Something like that. But no, I don't think the term "it's not completely true" is a strong statement. They should have probably worded that once again, while the memorandum is colorful, dramatic, and highly unprofessional, it's not accurate. That's it. That the state believes the allegations outlined by the defense are not supported by the evidence that they have collected. Okay, so let's see. That the state believes the allegations outlined by the defense are not supported by the evidence that they have collected. So what you're saying, I mean, again, that's another weak statement, because that's saying the evidence that they collected didn't prove that, but there might be something else that might, because it's not. So that the state believes the allegations outlined by the defense are not supported by the evidence that they have collected. I don't know. I guess that's about the only way you could word that. But that Sheriff Tony Liggett did not intentionally or recklessly omit evidence or lie about evidence in the probable cause affidavit to support the search warrant. So when you say intentionally, that's like when somebody says, I don't remember. How can you prove somebody's intent? Now, the defense also alleges that the search warrant was unreasonable under the Indiana and federal constitution in that it lacked probable cause, that it failed to establish that the items to be seized. See, everybody should always keep this in mind. The entire Delphi case, the probable cause document that we're looking at, minus the bullet shell and Richard Allen's October 13th statements, all of that stuff was known to law enforcement. I guess even his first one was in the documents. They just didn't have it in their, you know, it wasn't known. Okay, we'll just say that wasn't known. But all of the timing of people, the cameras on the Hoosier Harvest store, them seeing a specific person, all of that stuff was known. And then when Richard Allen's name was finally pulled out, he's the guy that fit into the tapestry, the puzzle that was already there. You finally got that one final puzzle piece to snap in, finishing the puzzle off. That's exactly what Richard Allen was. The puzzle was there. We're just looking for that one. You know, people always say, we're just looking for that one piece of the puzzle. Yeah, how true it is in this case. They had it all sitting right there. They just needed to snap in who that person was. We'd like to know who the driver of the vehicle that was parked at the abandoned CPS building was. You know why? Because the answer to that question is the killer. They knew that. They knew that the car drove by, the dark car. They knew that people saw it backed in there. And they want to know who the driver. Isn't that amazing? I just thought about how important that one statement was back then. We want to know who the driver of the vehicle that was parked at the abandoned CPS building. And the answer to who that was is Richard Allen, as he admits to getting there at 1:30 and parking at the old building there. I mean, isn't that amazing? So look up there, guys. We're almost at the goal. Wouldn't that be awesome to reach it there? We've had a bit of a stall out there. See if we can hit that. That'd be awesome. All right. Anyways, what does it say? Prosecutors have until the 8th. Yeah. Hey, Shell Bell, let me just get through this thing. Okay, thanks. Well, here, yeah, the memorandum goes against the gag order, and the prosecution, likely this document here, if this is the response, wasn't supposed to make it out, but here it is. We're all looking at it. you know. So anyways, that the state believes the allegations outlined by the defense are not supported by evidence that they have collected. That Sheriff Tony Liggett did not intentionally or recklessly omit evidence or lie about evidence in the probable cause affidavit to support the search warrant. That the defense also alleges that the search warrant was unreasonable under the Indiana and federal Constitution in that it lacked probable cause, that it failed to establish that the items to be seized were in the residence or could be expected to be in the residence, that the affidavit failed to provide particular information, that particular items related to the particular crime would be found in the home. That's somewhat of a reasonable point, because I was talking to Robert Ives about that part, where it's normally you have to you're doing a search warrant to look for certain things specifically related to the crime, and they went in there just kind of looking for whatever is in there, right? But why can't you do that? I mean, this is the guy. He admits to being the guy. That the affidavit failed to provide particular information that particular items related to the particular crime would be found in the home, and that the affidavit failed to connect generic items to actual items that were possibly used in the crime. That in September of 2022, while reviewing the evidence in the investigation into the murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German, investigators discovered an interview that was done with Richard Allen in 2017. Okay, so let's see. That in September 2022, while reviewing the evidence in the investigation. Yeah, so isn't that crazy? In September, they were reviewing. And that's exactly the time they were searching the Wabash River. Okay, because October 13th is when they went over and executed a search warrant. So, but it was just weeks prior to that. I think it was, wasn't it September 30th when they quit searching the Wabash? Let me go look. The search began August 19th, and it went on for, let's see, it went on for like a month. So that you're talking about in September. Updated September 28th. The 5 weeks. No, 5 weeks. Look at this date right here, you guys. The 5-week search of the Wabash River in Miami County is over. The big question still looms, is it connected? So you're talking about on September 28, 2022, they're searching the Wabash River. And then look at that, in September of 2022, while reviewing the evidence in the investigation into the murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German, investigators discovered an interview that was done with Richard Allen. Don't you think that that's connected somehow, you guys? Thank you, Kami and Tanya M. Don't you think that something, whatever it was, they were searching the Wabash River, that's what led to. You're talking, now it's even more coincidental. The other one was like, oh, it was 2 weeks after they searched the Wabash River. Now it is at the same time they're searching the Wabash River regarding Kagan Klein, they stumble upon. And isn't it weird too that Doug Carter was in a helicopter flying over the scene right near the end of this? So that means they've already got Richard Allen, and they're flying over the scene there. God, man, listen, you guys. Right now, right after hearing this, I think it's more likely now. I mean, more likely to me. It's very possible what I'm about to say isn't really what happened, but it feels like Richard Allen gave something to Kagan Klein. After, he searched for the Marathon gas station. Kagan did, according to Murder Sheet. Okay. On that very day, and that's right next to Richard Allen's home, 0.6 miles away. Gave him something, and then what if, I'm just going to throw this out there. Richard Allen gives Kagan Klein the knife used. and the Samsung phone. Kagan Klein drives over, throws something into the Wabash River, and Richard Allen, and then Richard Allen goes home, but Kagan Klein throws it into the Wabash River, and he has the cell phone. And then they go to Las Vegas, the Kleins do, and maybe they sold the media that was produced by... This sounds kind of... You know, if I would have said this 3 years ago, I would think it sounded totally far-fetched, but I don't think it's far-fetched at all anymore, given what we know about these rings and the child pornography industry. So I think it's very... I don't know. When I say it's... I would say it's not a... It's less than 50% chance. Okay, I'm just saying this is something that popped into my head. And it uses all of the facts and elements in the case, putting it together. And a lot of people that don't know this, but like, the Samsung phone, there was a Samsung phone that Kagan Klein claimed he found in the back seat of a taxi cab, and then he factory reset it. Why would he do that? You know, like, people just, the odds of that are so low, and that's why he's explaining that it was factory reset to the police, and that's why it was factory reset, because I just found the phone. But what if that phone was, like Kagan Klein's phone, and then he hands it to Richard Allen, and of course later, after he transfers the media off of it, then he factory resets it. I don't know, man. Something seems a little strange there, I gotta be honest. But this makes that seem more likely. Because this is new here. I didn't realize that they were reviewing the evidence in September, simultaneously with the search in the Wabash River. You gotta admit, that is crazy, right? Well, I don't know if a snuff film was sold. It's just a theory, and it could just be completely wrong, but it's based on some pretty crucial things. You have Kagan Klein with the Anthony Shots profile communicating with Libby apparently on the same day, and even says to another girl he was supposed to meet Libby that day. Now, if that's true, well, he didn't show up, okay? He didn't show up there. But somebody else did. On a mission, they're head down, focused towards the bridge. And that person met Abby and Libby, and that's Richard Allen, right? And Richard Allen is the guy on the bridge. Even if it doesn't match what Sue said the person looked like on Platform 1, the person walking on the bridge is exactly how Richard Allen described himself. Exactly. And again, like I said 75,000 times, what are the odds that... Oh, hold on a second. Thank you up there to Margie. That didn't make any noise for me for some reason. What are the odds that Richard Allen... Well, it's better to word it. What are the odds that Keegan Klein and his Anthony Shots profile was supposed to meet the girls that day, and the only reason that person, the catfishing, psycho, wacko, disgusting catfishing person, the only reason they didn't get to meet Libby was because a random killer named Richard Allen happened to be there. I mean, that has got to be the worst day by a billion. I mean, we're talking about... What do you think the odds of that if you were going to type in something? Man, if only the... I mean, isn't it weird to wish that the catfisher had got to them first? Because they'd probably still be alive at that point. I mean, that's weird. So I don't think that is real. I think that the reality is that Richard Allen had some sort of a connection with Kagan Klein's Dropbox account, which led to one of the largest child pornography rings in Indiana state history, and it's possible that Richard Allen was connected in some way to that Dropbox account, and perhaps the Dropbox account was used as sort of a menu of sorts. People would go, hey, yeah, I've got a live one here, I'm talking to these 2 13 14-year-old, they're going to be at the park later today, all right, and he goes, oh yeah, that's exactly my type, yeah, and he heads out there. But he had maybe other motivations there. Now, I can't tell you that what I'm saying is 100% true, or if it's even true at all. It's just a theory, but it's based on a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, stuff that a lot of people knew that are just following now have no clue about, right? So, 1 billion to 1 octillion. There you go, Bridget. There you go. Anyway, let's get back to this. Hey, hold on one second. I'll be back in a minute. Let me play the old break music. You got. There we go. Link to Klein's case. Yeah, I think there's got to be. This whole Odin stuff is smoke and mirrors. Didn't you think it's also weird? Okay, so I can just point out stuff like in the Frank's hearing memorandum, whatever you want to call it, they didn't mention the 3 girls at all. And so for those of you out there that are still unsure, you're kind of wondering, here's where it is right here. Think about it like this. At 12:43, these 3 girls were right at the start of the bridge here. They walk this way and don't see a soul. They 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 don't see a soul. And then at 1:26, they're at this bench, at one of the benches around here. We don't really know exactly what bench. So at 1:26, they're right there at a bench. They still haven't seen anybody. Then they start walking this way, and Richard Allen, at that almost exact moment in time, 1:27, 1 minute after they were at a bench, he goes driving this direction and parks his vehicle. Let me get this one right here. There you go. Parks his vehicle at the abandoned CPS building, just where I parked the other day using the 360-degree camera. Then he starts walking down this trail right here. Turns up like that. Yeah, that one. He comes up like this. Goes on to the Freedom Bridge here. Starts walking. And then right around in this area, those same 3 girls were heading out and ran into Richard Allen. So this is going to be like 1:34, 1:35. So they see him coming in. He admits to seeing those 3 girls. All right, and then he described what he was wearing. Now the importance of Sue is that she sees him standing here, but then we have this new description in the document. She sees him standing on platform 1. But guess what? Richard Allen himself apparently admits to standing on platform 1 here looking at fish. Okay, now the description of Sue here So when you look at this right here, we've got the 126. He's walking at 134. Then at 146, her name isn't Sue. It's in the documents, but it's really important with it. She drives by at 146, the Hoosier Harvest Store, parks right here, gets out, walks down this direction, and she says she sees somebody on platform 1, the same platform that Richard Allen says he's on. I think Sue is mistaken in her remembering of what the person looked like. And I do, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. So Sue sees this person on platform 1, and she starts walking like this, and then halfway back passes Abby and Libby, who were dropped off at 149-ish right here. So they were just 3 minutes behind Sue, but they weren't running, they weren't exercising, they were just walking. So she made it a little bit further quicker, and so on halfway back she runs into Abby and Libby, and that means the next people they're going to see is whoever is right here. So at 2:13 we see a person that looks exactly like Richard Allen and exactly how he described himself as looking, but not like how Sue describes him in the Frank's memorandum document. Okay? It doesn't look quite like that, but the person on the bridge doesn't match what the memorandum says Sue said. You get what I'm saying? So either way, it doesn't really matter. The Richard Allen character, because he said he was there from 1:30 to 3:30 in 2017 when he was interviewed by the conservation officer. That's what he told him. 10:30 or 1:30 to 3:30. Then when he was in 2022 on October 13th, he said 12 to 1:30. Okay, so he said that then because he knew that the time was crucial, and he didn't think that they'd ever found, obviously for 5 years they didn't find the document, so he started changing some time up a little bit there. But it's wrong, it's a lie. The memorandum has a lie, and the reason they left out those 3 girls is because they're damning as hell. They show him coming into the park. There's a photograph one of the girls took on one of these benches that people have out there. Law enforcement has it. There's a timestamp on it. Richard Allen's heading in this direction when he comes in. He's not leaving the park. Okay? He's coming in. And then a guy looking exactly like him, because it is him, stood on platform 1 and walks this way, and then at 2:13 on this side of the bridge has the girls go down the hill. So how was that presented there? Doesn't it just go, whoa, how in the hell could it be somebody else? There wasn't another person there. Sue never saw another person, and nobody else saw another person resembling the Richard Allen clothing or the guy on the bridge that day at all the rest of the day. There was a whole bunch of other people that showed up later. Cheyenne and Flannel Shirt Guy. Derek was even there for part of the time. Many different people showed up. None of them saw this same person. The reason is because after he took him down the hill over here, he spent time over here, he killed them, then he exited over here, and these people didn't see him. Now this whole muddy and bloody part, who knows, but let's get back to the document. All right. Now we have 758 people watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, you guys, and maybe consider becoming a channel member. It does help out the channel, and it a portion of that goes to charities at the end of the month. We've donated over 42,000. What is it? 42,000. What are we at now this year? At 41,350 this year. 168,000 since January 2020. Straight out of the income. Thanks, Linda Howell and Gwendolyn B. It feels weird to see you do a regular show after. I know. It's weird. It's like I felt like I got punished for doing the Delphi trip. You know, so now we're back to normal again, and maybe, you know. All right, so here we go. That, let's see. The defense also alleges that the search warrant was unreasonable under Indiana and federal constitution, in that it lacked... Okay, we did that part. That in September 22, while reviewing the evidence in the investigation into the murder of Abigail Williams and Liberty German, investigators discovered an interview that was done with Richard Allen in 2017.
I'm busy with school, but I try to watch as much as possible. Keep up the good work.
Well, thank you. Hey, what do you think about that, Lillian? Don't you think that's pretty crazy? This September now is when they stumbled upon that. I bet you something that Keegan Kline said. Just what is it? You gotta admit. I mean, look how crazy that is. They're searching the Wabash in September, and they find the Richard Allen information during the search, and they kept searching in there. So why did they keep searching in there? They should have called that off the second they... Oh, that's Richard Allen already. Whoa. Quit searching in there. Because I think they're connected. And then, that account was supposed to meet with them that day. And they didn't get to meet with them because Richard Allen killed them. So you got two separate crazy coincidences regarding Keegan Kline and Richard Allen right there. Two crazy coincidences. Searching the Wabash because of Keegan Kline, and they stumble upon Richard Allen in their documents. Then on the day of the murders, Keegan Kline's Anthony Shots profile is supposed to meet with the girls. Or at least Libby anyways. And only doesn't get to because they were killed by Richard Allen. You see that? Those are two... Each one of those by themselves is ridiculous. You put them together, you got to multiply it. Let's say let's see. What are the odds that they were searching the Wabash River and then they stumbled upon Keegan Kline right at the same time? What? 1 in 1,000 maybe? 1 in 100, let's just say. Now, what are the odds that a catfishing account wouldn't get to meet somebody because another random killer just showed up? That's probably 1 in a million. So you got to multiply 1 in a million times 1 in 100. And then I think you end up with 1 in 100 million. Okay. That's a pretty big number. I am sure I just invented the probability numbers. But man, that is crazy. Yeah, but that has nothing to do with it. It was in the forensic information, Bobby, so you must have missed that part. Yeah. Yeah, it was in their document. They said, the investigators said, that he communicated with them that day. Alright, anyways. So, hey, I think that's crazy. So let me just finish in here. Then on September 22nd, while reviewing the evidence in the investigation into the murder of Abigail Williams and Liberty German, investigators discovered an interview that was done with Richard Allen in 2017 by Indiana Conservation Officer Dan Doolin. That in 2017 interview, Richard Allen admitted to being on the trail the day that Abigail... I bet this is going to sound just like me. That's what I'm guessing. Thanks, Joel Sane. Yeah, wouldn't that be great? Yeah. Making up for about 4 of those days on that trip. That in 2017 interview, Richard Allen admitted being on the trail the day that Abigail Williams and Liberty German went missing. Yeah, he admitted it. That he stated that he was on the trail between 1:30 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. And that while he was on the trail, he was using his phone. Wow, I bet you... See, that would be an interesting information there. If they can't show that he's using his phone, then that's damning because he lied. But if he was using his phone, then it shows that it was there, and then all of a sudden, if you don't see it, it means he turned it off. So Joel Sane said, let's hit the goal and then some. Wouldn't that be great, everybody? that on October 13, 2022, investigators invited Richard Allen and his wife, Kathy Allen, to speak to them. That's that October 13th. To speak to them and follow up on that interview done in 2017. So this is pretty good shit here. That both Richard Allen and Kathy Allen came to the interview on their own on October 13, 2022. They were not under arrest and were free to leave the interview at any time. Thanks, Mo S. That investigators learned from those interviews that Richard Allen reaffirmed that he was in fact on the trails the day that Abigail Williams and Liberty German went missing, and further admitted to being on the high bridge. But apparently he may have changed it from 12 to 1:30. Now, this is pretty interesting. Thanks, CR. Yeah, just think of me as a cup of coffee, you know? It's no big deal. It's easy for you to say, Gray. Well, they could have had an answer a lot quicker, Joseph, but yeah. That investigators learned from those interviews that Richard Allen reaffirmed that he was in fact on the trails that day, the day that Abigail Williams and Liberty German went missing, and further admitted to being on the high bridge. Hey, thanks, Michelle Marie. Well, look at that. We jumped over. Appreciate it. That was your first super chat. Thank you very much. You guys should come back on the 30th and see what we do at the end of the month. That he also told investigators that he was wearing blue jeans. Listen to this. Okay, hold on. Let me play this at the same time. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. For those of you who are sort of new to the case, watch this. It'll start over here in a second. I got those controls. Oh, is that what that is? There we go. So see the way I have him moving there? That's because law enforcement put out a weird video where they kept the subject in the middle. And what I did was I took each frame of the video and kept the bridge stable behind him so that you could actually see the way he moved. You see that? And so this is that picture we're using in the background is one from, there's people in the background, but it was a pretty good angle for what I needed. So as you can see, you see him there. But let's go back here, and I'm going to read this part. That he also told investigators that he was wearing blue jeans and a blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hood, and that he was wearing a head covering. I mean, who's that, everybody? I mean, it's not the guy right there. I mean, just look at that, what I just explained that. He was right there. And by the way, the head covering, I think, let's load that sucker up. Come on, defense team, do better. You guys suck. All right. Let me get to the. There's Richard Allen. I got a picture I got to show you guys. There it is. That one. So these are a whole bunch of pictures in here. I'm going to get off that screen. I think that what he's got on his head is that hat right there. I really do. Now that I look at it, you put a little hood over that. See how it sticks out a little bit? And he described it like that. I think that hat is what he was wearing in that video. It's the right color. You get the sun on that. I mean, look right around in here what that looks like. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the... Let's play the Delphi shot again. Rewind it. Look at that. Look at that damn thing on his head right there. And it could just be that the the hood is behind his head, and that's what he's got right there. That is the hat that he's wearing on that shot. There's no GoPro. Yeah, you bring up GoPro again on his head, I'm going to remove you from the channel. All right, so you see that right there? I think that is exactly that hat. He's got a hoodie underneath his Carhartt jacket that's coming up, and it's just bunched behind his head. All right? Right. You forgot the dog in his jacket, hip E. All right, you forgot that one. And don't forget the oxygen tank, the hell else was there? Abby recorded his footsteps along with his image. Yeah, we know, Ethel. I've explained all that on the show. Okay, thank you. Can the prosecutor force Richard Allen to say the words that he was recorded? Well, he's probably going to go, down the hill. He's not going to say it, right? Just like OJ's gloves, quote, didn't fit, right? Of course they did. Thank you, Robin Lane. The puppy in his jacket. Don't forget the van under the... Oh, yeah, the van under the bridge. Forgot that one, Cairo. How you feeling, by the way? You're feeling better? People actually said he, like, skied out of the hill there. I mean, no, but I'm finally in Indiana. Well, you missed me by, I don't know, 4 days probably. And there's more footage than we've seen. No, well, very, very little, Cassandra. See, a lot of people think that there's this whole thing. That's because you believe the wacko YouTuber that told you that. Okay, the guy that wrote the book on Ron Logan being the killer. He keeps telling people that. He said that on Court TV as breaking news. He was full of shit, okay? I'm just telling you. I don't mean to cuss. I don't like cussing, but it's the only term that I can come up with. He said that those are two different voices, everybody. Those are two different voices. Yeah. And they're actually out of order. It's down the hill, guys. And it's a lot longer. And there's all kinds of this other stuff on there. Yeah. No, that person doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. Okay. The way the video worked was that I think the girls saw the person on the other end of the bridge, and Libby turned her camera on and filmed the guy for like 2 seconds and put the camera down by her leg. So that's why you only see this little bit, because it was just quick, boom, down. And in the video itself, though, Abby's in the video. Like she's in the video, and then the camera goes down, and then you see Abby's legs on the camera down by her side step off, and then you hear the crunching sound as she gets back behind Libby, and they're talking about, God, there's a creepy guy, where do we go, things like that. And then the person catches up to him. It only took 5, 6, 7 other seconds. Catches up. Abby's behind Libby, and he says, hey guys, and Libby actually says, hey, back. He says, hey, she says, hey, back to him. So we don't get to hear that part. Then he, on the camera itself, you can hear the crunching sound as he gets walks past the girls, right? And I think at that point is when Abby says, he's got a gun, he's got a gun. And then he says, down the hill. I mean, it's really creepy, but that's how it went. Okay, so we can listen to these wackos. And here's the thing, that was told to me by somebody out there that actually watched it. Okay, so isn't that more believable than somebody that wrote a book and can't have it be Richard Allen? So they're going to say whatever it takes. Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, Gray, how do you know that it... Okay. Wow. So let's do a poll here. Let's do this one. Do you think this is the hat? All right, let's just see what people think. I'm not 100% certain about this, but I feel really strongly that hat right there is what he's wearing on that bridge. Or one just like it. I mean, a lot of people are going to say no because they always thought it was something else. So they can't change their minds. I never even thought about this. I thought it was a baseball hat that had a hoodie over it. And it was kind of curved a little bit. But now when I look at this, how it sticks out a little bit above his head. A little rigidity to it. I think that's it. Joseph, I just explained it to you. It's right there. There's a little bit of you can't see if it's brimmed like you want it to be with a baseball cap. Okay, you can't see that. I know you want it to be, and you probably sound like you want it to be one of the Odinists that was just mentioned because he has that little hat that kind of he bought that as a sarcastic gesture because all the clowns were accusing him. So just look at that hat again, and then one more time back at the video here. And here we go. All right, speed up. Get the closer up one. Now look how even at the top it. Man, God, that just now that's all I see because that thing is right on the money there. That's it. And it's a beanie that sticks out a little bit. Right in the front, it goes about 2 or 3 inches off the front of his face. And he admits it, that it's like that. He says that, where did he say this? That he also told investigators that he was wearing blue jeans and a blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hood that he was wearing and a head covering. Do you guys hear that? It's not a brimmed hat. It's not a brimmed hat, Hardwire. Do you guys see that right there? A head covering. Don't you think he would have said he was wearing a baseball hat or something like that if he was? Head covering is more like what we just looked at. Yeah, I can tell. Anyways, that further, Richard stated that he did own guns and that the guns were in his home. I just think it looks more like that hat than it does a baseball cap. And he doesn't say he was wearing a baseball cap. He said a head covering. Who the hell? Name one person in your life that they were wearing a baseball cap and they said, well, I was wearing a head covering. Now, you might say that with about a stocking cap or something that you just kind of didn't pop into your head right away. But a baseball cap, everybody knows the name of it, right? So you're going to just say immediately, yeah, I had a baseball cap underneath my hoodie. He didn't say that, though. He said a head covering, which means that for a moment there, he just didn't quite remember what to call it. Yeah. It sticks out 2 or 3 inches. Yeah. In front of his face. It's casting a shadow on his face. A toque wouldn't, whatever the hell that means. Yeah. Alright, anyways, let's get rid of that one. Hey, at least we got over 50%. I think that cap is what he has on, and the hoodie is right behind his head bunched up. Yeah, I think it's behind his head kind of bunched up. That doesn't look like a hoodie much anymore over his head. All the way over his head. Now, it could be that it's up kind of there and it's a little bit of both, but he says head covering. Anyways, so we kind of just quit talking about what he was wearing, but now it kind of matters because he mentions stuff. Like, for years, it just became like, oh, Jesus, everybody sees something else. Gray, what are your thoughts on why no one in a town that small was ever able to identify Richard Allen as Bridge Guy? Because it's too blurry. And a lot of people, I mean, here's the thing, is I've said this before, a lot of people wear that type of clothing in the area, right? So, like, you might see other people wearing that, but then you go, well, see, it could have been somebody else. But there was nobody else there that day at that time that was wearing that clothing. Richard Allen actually describes himself perfectly, and he was there from 1:30 to 3:30, and guess what, everybody? He confessed, okay? He confessed. Here, let's pull something else up here while we're sitting here. Where's the pool video? I've got it in here. Is it this one? Yeah. So this is the same hat. It's just dark in there. Hold on. So that's the same night, but see how it's all dark? But then when it comes over here, you can see there now it's brown. But see how it sticks out there and everything? I don't know, man. That definitely... You put a hoodie up next to that. Wow, that's when his craziness started right there, right? You keep saying that, Steve. You keep saying it, Steve. You type it in one more time. I'm gonna time you out, man. You've said it 4 times now. It doesn't. There is a shadow. I can see a shadow. Right? Don't you see the shadows on his eyes right there? I can see him easily. I can see him. You know, probably depends on the angle. You guys are nuts, man. Jesus. Look how long that hat is. You think that was the hat right there? Look how long that sucker sticks out right there. You never know, though. I'm just not throwing it out there as a possibility that since he said the word head covering, not baseball cap, and it looks like exactly the same color as that brown cap, that maybe that's what he's wearing. You ever think of that? All right. Got to get back to this. On October 13th, 2020, was on the trails. He was using his phone. Okay, so he says he was using his phone on the trail. So there should be some cast information regarding his phone, you would think. And if there's no information that his phone was being used, then that means he lied about that. Right? Does everybody agree with that? Like if his phone is actually, he's looking at the stock ticker as he claimed on one of the interviews, then his phone would have pinged off that tower right by Logan's property there, right? So if there's no pinging of his phone, then he's lying about that. Do you guys agree with that? And if it does show up pinging there, then it shows exactly where he was. Well, no, Gray, he was using a burner phone when he was... Oh, okay. And that's not nefarious at all. October 13, 2022, investigators invited Richard Allen and his wife, Kathy Allen, to speak to them and follow up on the interview done in 2017. That both Richard Allen and Kathy Allen came to the interview on their own on October 13th, and they were not under arrest and were free to leave the interview at any time. That investigators learned from these interviews that Richard Allen reaffirmed that he was in fact on the trails the day that Abigail Williams and Liberty German went missing, and further admitted to being on the high bridge. So I'm just repeating this part again. That he also told investigators that he was wearing blue jeans and a blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hood, and that he was wearing a head covering. That further, Richard stated that he did own guns and that the guns were in his home. That investigators learned from Kathy that Richard Allen still had guns and knives in the home along with a blue Carhartt jacket. That investigators believed a firearm was involved in the abduction because they heard a click and murder of the and Abby actually says, "Is that a gun? He's got a gun." That investigators believe firearm was involved in the abduction and murder of Abigail Williams and Liberty German because an unspent .40 caliber round was found between the bodies of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. Let's see. That was found early on. That investigators believed a knife was used in the murder of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. That the clothes that Richard Allen described wearing the day he was on the trails matched the description of the man seen on the bridge from the video taken by Liberty German's phone. God, where did I hear that? Where the hell was that? Oh, yeah. That it was also gathered that Richard Allen still possessed the firearms, knives, and the clothing, and said items were in his house. Hey, by the way, can we hit that like button, you guys? I mean, if you come over, you go to a channel, just help them out by hitting the like button. I mean, there's absolutely nothing unlikable about this show tonight. So we're going to have to hit that like button right now. 10, 15, 20, 20, hit that like button. Yeah. Hit that like button. 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Hit that like button. 5, 10, 15, 20. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Hit that like button, hit that like button, 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Hit that like button, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Hit that like button. Even if your fingers don't work, use your nose, use your nose, use your nose, your elbow. Do something, for God's sake, hit the God. There you go, everybody. You got it. You got it. Awesome. Yeah, you too. You too, Ashy Snow. You too. But it was also gathered Richard Allen still possessed the firearm, knives, and clothing, and said items were in his house. That based on the information, investigators prepared a probable cause affidavit with a search warrant for the home of Richard Allen. That the probable cause affidavit covers all the information that law enforcement had gathered in the investigation in regards to Richard Allen up until October 13th. Did I just say that? I've said that for months. That document had every element in there they already had for years. And now they just got the name of the person. So here's how you could read it. As we said earlier, you could say, the investigators had all the information, the timing of all the vehicles, the description of the individual at the bridge, and all they were looking for was the name of the driver of the vehicle that was parked at the abandoned CPS building, and they got it. Richard Allen. He admitted to being the vehicle that was parked there and was wearing exactly the same clothing and admitted to being on the bridge. I mean, it's just, okay. If you don't see, like what I've said before is, if The probable cause was all there was given at trial. I'd vote guilty. I don't need to have this other stuff. Hey, Steve. Good stuff, Steve. You're a genius, man. You're a genius. How fast can you do the Rubik's Cube, Steve? I bet you less than 10 seconds. Yeah. We don't call hats toques here. We call them like beanies or stocking cap. Okay, we don't use the word toque. I mean, how many of you literally here have used that? I honest to God, I don't think anybody uses that at all. What are you talking about, NASA in the woods? What are you talking about? What does that got to do with anything? Yeah, I've never even heard of toke before used for that. I've heard toke for someone smoking dope, which you probably do on a nightly basis, but I've never heard it used for an actual hat. Now, maybe it's like that in England or Australia or Canada or something like that, but we don't use that here. Yeah. Yeah, okay, Canadians do. So how can you expect somebody over here to use that term since we never use it? Well, like toque? Okay. Okay, yeah, it does say right there, Canadian, a close fitted knitted hat, often with a tassel or pom-pom. Okay. Well, he definitely doesn't have one of those with a tassel on it right there. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, you don't have to hide Steve. Yeah, I unhid him. It's just weird. You can always tell. And NASA in the Woods goes, "Are you trying to?" Why? Because there's somebody in here that's going nuts on a freaking... Hey, NASA in the Woods. What are you here for? Okay, you're... Appreciate the Delphi trip and excellent footage. Well, hey, no problem. Yeah, well, he got hidden, so I had to I unhid him. I don't mind somebody, you know. All right, let's see.
Appreciate the Delphi trip and excellent footage. Thanks.
All right, there we go. The live reactions are taken off the screen. Well, just let me keep going through it. I haven't gone through it myself. Yeah, that's what they do. See, that's one of the trolls from social media, Amber. Right? But it's got the shadows, but it's got the shadows, but it's got the shadows 14 times in a row when we can all see that there's shadows. Yeah, we get it. So let's look at it again. But we don't see how much there's a shadow. The shadow on his left side of his face is merely because the sun is directly to his right. The amount of shadow underneath the hat is very minimal that you can see there. The shadow on his left side of his face is purely from, just like, see how his left leg right now, right there is the shadow? That's because it's on that side. I know where the sun is. I know where all the setup is. The wind was blowing from the bridge towards the crime scene. So anybody on the crime scene wouldn't be able to hear if there were, screaming or anything like that. You wouldn't be able to hear it. But he would be able to hear anything at the crime scene. You know how wind works with sound like that. Huh? Took it easy, huh? Hey, Ashy Snow, I've gone over this 1,000 times. I've explained it to all of you. There's no... there's a little bit of shadow underneath the front of the beanie or hat, whatever you want to call it. We've worked through this whole thing multiple times. I have 3D renderings where the shadow is exactly the same, given the exact time, and it looks exactly like that. Yeah. Oh, okay. It's hard to tell. Sounded more like it. Yeah, the bridge looks so old, and after seeing the drone footage, I don't know how anyone... I think people still walk across that thing. It's really sturdy. With the bridge itself is sturdy. Maybe not the railroad ties, though. Yeah, we were saying that he was 5'4", 5'5". But he was much stronger. So when people often are what they're trying to do is they want you to remember what he looks like now, where he tried to make himself look sick and, you know, sort of like, you know, just in a bad way. And he doesn't look like that. He didn't look like that back then, I mean. I'll show you here. And that's cool, Ashy Snow. It's just hard to make you out, since earlier said I wasn't likable. So it's hard to tell where you're coming from half the time. All right, so look at what he looked like around that time. This is exactly what the guy on the bridge looks like. The short legs and torso longer. He's much stronger. The legs right there are powerful. He's sturdy. He's not some weak person that people try to make him out to be. All right? And that's just the reality of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He doesn't look like that now because they want him to look like he's not capable of doing this. That's what they're trying to do. That the clothes that Richard Allen described wearing the day he was on the trails matched the description of the man seen on the bridge from the video taken by Liberty German's phone. That it was also gathered that Richard Allen still possessed the firearms, knives, and the clothing, and said items were in his house. That based on this information, investigators prepared a probable cause affidavit with a search warrant for the home of Richard Allen. That the probable cause affidavit covers all the information that law enforcement had gathered in the investigation in regards to Richard Allen up until October 13th. And so now they have a lot more, right? So think about that. The probable cause affidavit was everything they had up until that time. But the probable cause affidavit outlines evidence that establishes probable cause to search the home of Richard Allen. That investigators applied for the search warrant on October 13th, and the same was granted that day by Carroll County Circuit Court Judge Benjamin Diener. Investigators went to the residence of the defendant, located at 1967 North Whiteman Drive, Delphi, Indiana, knocked on the door, and executed the search warrant on October 13, 2022. The defendant and his wife were asked to be out of the residence while the search warrant was executed, but were allowed back in the residence immediately afterwards. Investigators found several items in the residence, including a .40 caliber firearm and electronic devices, all of which are outlined in the search warrant return. So he had, I think, multiple cell phones in there. That for a search warrant to be valid, it must be accompanied by an affidavit that establishes probable cause, which is a sufficient basis of fact that exists to permit a reasonable, prudent person to believe that a search of the premises will uncover evidence of a crime. See, I think there's more information that would make you want to search Richard Allen's house than Ron Logan ever had, right? Great channel. I would like to see you follow the trial of Gareth Pursehouse. How come that name sounds familiar? Yeah, just send me an email. But I've noticed that trials don't really work well on this channel lately. Okay. Gotta get my music playing again. Still going through this. Thank you, CR. Hey, thanks, Mag. Please don't forget to give Gray a thumbs up. Subscribe and join the Freak family. Yeah, and so I'm not saying it's 100% going to be that brown cap, okay? But when people just quickly go, it can't be, without really looking at it, you know, that's different. But it definitely could be that cap. He also described it as a head covering, which I think nobody would ever say that unless they really weren't sure what to really refer to it as.
Please don't forget to give Gray a thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Subscribe and join the Freak family.
Huh? Hey, thank you guys. Thank you, Mag, Charlotte, Denny, and CR. Good to see you, Mag. It's okay, Ashy Snow. Don't worry about it. Maybe I got the wrong... Maybe I'm mixing your name up with somebody else that said that up above. The person that said I'm not likable. That's actually a freak in here. Right in the middle of troll zone. You got trolls all over the place. Yeah, we do, Ashy Snow. No big deal. No big deal. Yeah. But you know me by now, right? So the overkill, though we don't know everything, and the fact that most men that target girls have mommy issues. Okay, well, it was really bad timing, Ashy Snow. It was right in the middle of trolls all over the place. Yeah. When they showed up with the search warrant, you know, yeah, I saw the little face too. It just wasn't funny at the time, you know. My God, you guys sleuthing out the... I didn't not see the little wink at the end. Yeah, I guess so, Cassandra, I guess so. You all love to hate me. Yeah, I know you're being funny. It was just bad timing, Ashy Snow, as I just explained. So just, you know, let's move on now, okay? Thank you. Yeah, let's see. It looks like a peaky blinders cap. Yeah, whatever. Okay, that Indiana Code 353352 specifies the minimum information necessary to establish probable cause, which is as follows. Information particularly describing the house or place to be searched and the things to be searched for. Information alleging substantially the offense in relation thereto, and that the affiant believes and has good cause to believe that things sought are concealed in that place, and they are attempting to search, or the person to be arrested committed the offense described, and information setting forth the fact known to the affiant through personal knowledge or based on hearsay constituting probable cause. Thank you, WNC Granny. Yeah. See, the problem is on this channel, we have so many trolls, and there's people out there that sit around and they have nothing better to do than hate watch the show and then sit amongst their friends and type up stuff. So I want to be, at least the freaks in here, to sort of be mindful of that. You know, it's like It just, I always have to deal with so much crap after the shows are over, you know. You get what I'm saying? So that's one of the issues that I have here. It's a nightmare. They take what you say, they twist it around, they turn it into something else. Well, Gray, but you left out the context. It's just some days after I do the show, I just go, why the hell am I still doing these things? You know, I mean, I love doing true crime and everything, but it's just such a it's not. Sometimes it's just not fun. You know, it's not fun. That under the Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution, the evidence needed to obtain a search warrant need not rise to the statute of fact necessary to obtain a conviction. Yeah, it has to be 51%. The circumstances alleged in the affidavit need only lead a person of reasonable caution to believe that a crime had been committed. And thank you, WNC Granny. Yeah, people claim that, Liz. I don't know. That when the sufficiency of the search warrant is challenged under Fourth Amendment by the defendant, and it is the defendant's motion, the role of the reviewing court is to simply ensure that there was a substantial basis for finding probable cause, reminding itself that it owes great deference to the initial probable cause determination and will not invalidate a warrant by interpreting probable cause affidavits. Let's see. In hyper-technical rather than a common sense manner. Watkins versus State. That under Article 1, Section 11 of the Indiana Constitution, the reasonableness of the search is determined by using the Litchfield test, which looks at the totality of the circumstances and requires consideration of both the degree of intrusion into the subject's ordinary activities and the basis upon which the officer selected the subject of the search or seizure. Ding, 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 ding. That the inquiry requires a balancing of degree of concern, suspicion, or knowledge that a violation has occurred. The degree of intrusion, the method of the search or seizure imposes on the citizen's ordinary activities and the extent of law enforcement needs. That the state believes that the affidavit does meet the threshold. God, it sure does. I mean, to establish probable cause. But what the defense was trying to say was, had the judge seen that it wasn't really muddy and bloody and that Sue didn't see him, I guess those are really, and that the car that Sue saw doesn't match Richard Allen's vehicle, even though they left out the color that she said it was. That the judge might have said, I don't know, this doesn't seem like there's probable cause. So that's what they were looking for. That the state believes the affidavit does meet the threshold to establish probable cause under the Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution, and that there was a substantial basis for finding probable cause, and there was a high likelihood based on the evidence that the investigators had that there was evidence of the crime in the home of Richard Allen. So there's stuff that we haven't seen or heard about yet. The defense has that, but of course they're not going to put that in their Frank's hearing because it gives the public, oh my God. Like, let's just say this, for example. Well, let's say that after they figured out who it was, they did a cell phone thing, they have his phone. I mean, they probably would have put that in the probable cause if they'd had that. But let's say since then, they've developed all kinds of other information Well, we're not going to hear about that. And they probably, that's why they're trying to shut down the search warrant, because all the other stuff that they got after the search warrant that you'll not hear mentioned by the defense, they want it to be deemed the fruit from a poisonous tree, I guess is what it is. That's what they want it deemed. So we'll never hear that part. But I guarantee you they have stuff that's like absolutely incredibly more damning towards Richard Allen. It just wasn't in the probable cause because they didn't have it at that point. And so all those months later, there's the discovery that they have to hand over to the defense. They've seen it. They also have the confessions. Remember how the defense reacted when that came out? They went, well, it does appear that he's confessed, you know. Oh, boy. Oh, wow. Man. That's terrible, though. So what we need to do is make him look like he's nuts. So let's put him on a chair over there. Why don't we have him eat some spaghetti earlier and have him drool all over his shirt? And then we'll just act like he's crazy as a loon, and that's the only reason he said anything like that. Yeah, because we're all that stupid. Is there anybody really out there that thinks that Richard Allen confessed because he was treated badly and he got crazy in prison? Is there anybody that really even slightly buys into that? And if you are one of those people, you likely need a lobotomy. I don't know who performs those anymore. I think they mainly use drugs, but I would actually physically, the lobotomy would work best for you. That's not very nice, Gray, because I think it's very Well, yeah, you're going to need to go in and get that lobotomy then. Because it's absolute garbage, okay? There's Mag. Hey, I was like making her laugh. She gets all my jokes. That's why I always miss when you're not here. It's like, oh man. Well, I'm sure they're illegal now, but I want to reinstitute them, Eugenie, for the people who believe that Richard Allen was so crazy that he confessed to the murders to his wife and his mom. Okay. Oh, you thought it was? You saw the proof that it was Chadwell on a blog? Oh, wow. How does Anna Darko fit into this? Yeah, that's right. I mean, he was literally sautéing notes that his attorneys give him. Yeah, we know, Eugenie. I mean, I'm just joking around. Jesus. Oh, DYI? Yeah, that might work. Chris Watts. Yeah. Oh yeah, his defense attorneys were shocked to see Richard Allen literally sautéing notes that they'd given earlier, and he was chopping them up with knives and forks and. Gray, they don't give knives out in prison. That doesn't sound very reasonable. Right, but it was a joke. You get it? Yeah. Nothing worse than when you're telling a joke and people try to rationalize the. It's just, why am I in jail? What'd I do? Uh-oh. CR put me in jail. I don't even know if I have that around anymore. Oh, there it is. I got thrown into a jail. Yeah. Yeah. He swallowed the USB hard drive and just in a few weeks later, you could crap it out and put it right back into that computer. Great, what do you mean a few weeks? If you eat the right foods, ones with prunes in it, you should be able to pass that USB drive just in a day or two. Gosh, couldn't you be more accurate? Yeah. Oh, really? God, do you think so? T345? He said, plot twist, Gray did it. Yeah, you sound like one of the lunatics early on in the case who reported me to the Indiana State Police Facebook page, where I promptly showed up and shared the latest video that I made, and they were so impressed that the prosecutor called me up and said that they would hire me if they made an arrest to create an exhibit. But there wasn't an arrest made back then, and that prosecutor's no longer there. So thank you very much for those of you out there that are that crazy and ludicrous for helping me out early on. Hey, thanks, CR. But watch this, you guys. Listen to this, you guys. Watch. Guys, down the hill. Oh, holy crap! He said it exactly the same, everybody. A spork? That was a pretty good invention. Except, has anybody, let me ask you this. When you were using a spork, did you ever use it to poke something, like, pick up like a piece of ham or something? I think most people just use it as a spoon and, just sort of. But a one if you ever literally poked something with the tongs at the end of the spork. Or the points, or whatever the hell you call those things. I didn't think so. Of course you did. The one troll in here. Oh, yeah, I did every time. Hey, thanks, Mag and Kathy Chapin. I would say most people just use it as a spoon, okay? If you need a fork, you need a fork, not a spork. Yeah, it's great for macaroni and cheese, but you just kind of scoop it up. Need a Snickers? What do you mean? I don't get it. You do? You need a Snickers? Yeah, it is really good, right, Joel? It's good for, like, macaroni and cheese. Or actually, like, what's that? Macaroni salad. Isn't that perfect for that? Maybe it is good. Yeah, maybe you could use it for a fruit cup. Oh, that's right. I'm in prison. I forgot I was even in the damn place. Oh, yeah. Thanks for bailing me out there. What was it? A spork. You don't get a knife. Mag, Kathy Chapin, Carrie, and Danielle. All right. I forgot I was even in here. That was funny.
Chewbacca? Oh, I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to.
Did they make a spork on a pocket knife? Got new shower slippers and a ramen soup. All right. Anyways, the state believes that the affidavit does meet the threshold. Okay. The state believes that the affidavit, accompanied with the search warrant for the home of Richard Allen, does establish probable cause. That the state believes that the affidavit establishes the items to be seized were in the residence by the statements made by Richard Allen and his wife Kathy Allen. That the state believes that the affidavit provides particular information, that particular items, right, the clothing, the guns and everything, related to a particular crime will be found in the home based on the statements made by Richard Allen and his wife, Kathy. that the state believes that the affidavit connects generic items to actual items that were possibly used in the crime based on the investigators' evidence that they gathered throughout the investigation. That the evidence that was gathered in 2000... Let me read that part again. That the state believes that the affidavit connects generic items to actual items that were possibly used in the crime based on the investigators' evidence that they gathered. Yeah, so you're saying knives, a knife, gun, you know, just sort of generic. And the clothing. That the evidence was gathered in 2017. That the evidence that was gathered in 2017 was reaffirmed by the interview done with Richard Allen and his wife, Kathy Allen. Investigators believe at that time that they had enough probable cause to apply for a search warrant. Investigators also believed that they did not execute a search warrant on the residence immediately, that there was a danger that the defendant would destroy crucial evidence in the investigation. The investigators believed, through their training and experience, that there was a real chance that the defendant would destroy evidence once he knew he was a suspect in the crime. Wherefore the state has shown that the actions by the officers were valid and justified and did not violate the defendant's Fourth Amendment under the United States Constitution or Article 1, Section 11 of the Indiana Constitution, and therefore the motion to suppress should be denied. So is that the response? I mean, it's pretty good, but I mean, is it the response? It was professional. You see the difference there? Yeah, I mean, I think that is... Let me see, is there another page? Yeah, just the signatures there. McClellan, and again. Yeah, I think that's fine. Don't you think? It just explains... It's kind of what we were saying the other day, right? Hey, wow, thanks, CR. Gifted 5 memberships. We've got one to LS Fitz, Tanika R, Angel Bear, I thought you already were one, John Wolf, and Elaine. Did you read the broadcast one? Yeah, we did. That was first. Thank you for those taquitos. Not sure where I got this one. But see, he does look young in the face here. Don't you think? Especially if he shaved that off. He doesn't have a lot of wrinkles. He looks young to me. He got rid of that mustache. Ginger snaps. Don't forget that one. That was good. That was kind of a weird one there. I wonder what he was doing on that phone. You know what's weird is the lady that runs into him reminds me of what Cindy would do. This is like Cindy J. Wow, look at, watch this. That is, man. You gotta admit. Hey, thanks, Ali79. Yeah, that's his wife. I think it even sort of sounds like you, the laugh there. A lot of bone breaking, jeez. That's crazy. Ginger snaps. Oh, here it is.
Down we going down. Shut up.
Watch it, cable snaps. That's his voice.
Down we going down. Shut up.
Down the hill.
Snap. I'm gyrating, but it's not gonna snap. Oh my god.
There's the wheelchair coming up.
What?
There's a wheelchair coming up.
Oh my god. Lonely wheelchair. Wasn't that interesting?
Ginger snaps.
Going down. Shut up.
Watch it, cable snaps. We always say it. Ginger snaps.
Down we going down.
Just a second, I'm going to play the other thing. But the problem is with Libby's video, it's been processed in a sort of a digitally sound. It has a sort of a metallic sound in there. Guys. Ginger snaps. What the hell happened there? Guys. Guys. Down the hill.
Going down.
That, I think to me that sounds pretty similar. You know, not that I have, you know, like, oh, I'm not like this voice analysis expert, but you know, this one's close to the camera. The other one they have to sort of boost up a little bit, but I could definitely. It's not. I think it's consistent with his voice. Yeah, that's all I can say. I mean, I can't say, oh, it's him. Yeah. It's his voice. But here's the thing is, I think it is his voice because I think it's him. Right? So for me, when I say, oh, it sounds similar, that means it is his voice because Richard Allen is the killer of Abby and Libby. Or at least the abductor that led to their deaths, hence the felony murder charge.
Down we going down.
Cable snaps.
Guys.
Shut up.
And the thing is, if you talk a little quieter, your voice is a little bit deeper. You know, but if you talk louder, it gets kind of higher like that, you know. But if you talk lower, it's definitely a deeper sounding voice. Ginger snaps. Guys, down the hill. Guys, down the hill.
Guys, down the hill!
Hey, Mary Lou, what the hell are you doing jumping in there? I was just trying to do a comparison.
Me too, Gray. I was trying to sort of sound like we sound like me.
Jesus. Oh, man. She'll just jump in there when you least expect it. Weirdest thing you've ever heard in your life. Down the hill is the same tone. Yeah, I think so. As cable snaps. Cable snaps. Yeah, he's saying cable snaps. We'd say ginger snaps, though. Ginger snaps. Like Ron Pexa. Yep, pork chops and applesauce. Yeah, it goes down the hill. Ginger snaps. Ginger snaps. Down the hill. You know what I'm saying?
It's not going to snap. I'm gyrating, but it's not going to snap. Down we going down. Shut up. It's not going to snap. I'm gyrating, but it's not going to snap. Oh my god.
God, put a 1 if you'd like to sit to somebody next to somebody on a gondola that's gyrating. A ski lift. You know, if there's one thing I agree with him on there is like, hey, man, that cable might snap. Yeah, I think when you're on those ski lifts, you just kind of want to stay as damn still as possible. You get what I'm saying? Right, Danielle. What does it got to do with what we were talking about? Who? What do you think? Oh, we can't start over again. They just kind of went through the, you know, the elements again. I would just hit rewind and, I mean, they went through basically the probable cause, mentioning the different items. It didn't really get much more than what you had already heard. My heart literally beats fast when I hear, huh? Not mine. I've heard it so many times that it's just. Mm-hmm.
There's a wheelchair coming up.
What?
There's a wheelchair coming up.
Lonely wheelchair.
Oh yeah, there's a wheelchair on the. Probably maybe somebody needed
Isn't that
it.
interesting?
Ginger snaps. There he is right there. Is that an earring he's got there? See, I think this is like what he looked like later. So the weird part is in 2017 he looked normal. But now look at him. He doesn't look normal at all. And there's some people that think, I think it's in, yes, you got that one, this one. I think he looks totally normal here, like a normal dude, right? In that one. Almost looks like Brad Pitt in a way, you know? Now, here's something that I think is pretty weird. Okay, so we figured this out really early on. That this is a picture in the house, and this is his daughter. And Libby would wear almost exactly these same types of pants. And she liked to wear tie-dyes. And this shirt here is one of the tie-dye memorial shirts. Right? So this is one of the memorial shirts that were made. Now, a lot of people had them in the town, so it doesn't have to mean something. But, I don't know, it's kind of weird. You know, I gotta be honest with you. Thank you, Deborah Don. And then he also took a picture on the Monon High Bridge of the same person. You know, his daughter there. So that's another thing that's a little weird, right? So is there a possibility that Richard Allen was maybe attracted to somebody who looked a little bit like his daughter, and so chose from the Dropbox account, or even suggested? Because like Libby isn't typically the what do you call it, the type that these people would pray after, right? Unless somebody was like, hey, that's what or the target is what I was looking for. So what if there was a Richard Allen that wanted a certain look and then was shopping for that look on the Dropbox account? See? And Kagan Klein, or whoever else might have been uploading there, was the person who... I mean, what if I guess you could say that what if Kagan Klein's connection is that he started a Dropbox account, but what if there's some other sort of individual that isn't like directly connected to Kagan Klein that was uploading on there, and that would make it all the same coincidences would still be in place. I just think it's going to be Kagan Klein now. And it's not, man, what a shock. And his wife. Are you still there? Zozo? I was just reading. Yeah. Keegan Klein. All right. I mean, I can zip. If you pay attention, I'll do this. But I can probably do it pretty quick. All right, here we go. Okay, that the state believes that the allegations outlined by the defense are not supported by the evidence that they have collected. The Sheriff Tony Liggett did not intentionally or recklessly admit evidence or lie about evidence in the probable cause affidavit to support the search warrant. That the defense also alleges that the search warrant was unreasonable under Indiana and federal constitution, and that it lacked probable cause, that it failed to establish that the items to be seized. So what they're saying in this part was that, they're suggesting that the prosecution intentionally did things, and but I think the key stuff comes in here. All right, that in 2017 interview, Richard Allen admitted being on the trail the day that Abigail Williams and Liberty German went missing. That he stated that he was on the trail between 1:30 p.m. and 3:30 p.m., and that while he was on the trail, he was using his phone. And thank you very, again, up there, Deborah Dawn. Appreciate that. Okay, then 14, that on October 13th, 2022, investigators invited Richard Allen and his wife, Kathy, to speak to them and follow up on the interview done in 2017. That both Richard Allen and Kathy Allen came to the interview on their own on October 13th, and they were not under arrest and were free to leave the interview at any time. That investigators learned from those interviews that Richard Allen reaffirmed. So they already had the interview he did 5 years ago, and Richard Allen likely thought they lost it. But he reaffirmed that he was in fact on the trails that day, that Abigail Williams and Liberty German were missing, and further admitted to being on the Monon High Bridge itself. So what they're leaving out again in this one is that on that second interview, Richard Allen likely said he was there from 12 to 1:30, but you're leaving it out because what he said in 2017 is way more likely. That he also told investigators that he was wearing blue jeans. Let's do that part again. I liked the way I did that earlier. Before reading that again, let's do this again. Or watch this. Here we go. Why is that hard to find? There it is. That he also told investigators that he was wearing blue jeans and a blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hood, and that he was wearing a head covering. Boy, that doesn't look like anybody. But further, Richard Allen stated that he didn't own guns, and that he did own guns, and that the guns were in his home. That investigators learned from Kathy that Richard Allen still had guns and knives in the home, along with a blue Carhartt jacket. That investigators believed a firearm was involved in the abduction and murder of Abigail Williams and Liberty German, because an unspent .40 caliber round was found between the bodies of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. Plus, they also thought they heard a click, and Abby says, he's got a gun, he's got a gun. That investigators believe a knife was used in the murder of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. Well, it's hard to... I have done it before. I could try to do it again, but I've already done that before on another show. that investigators believe the knife was used in the murder of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. That the clothes that Richard Allen described wearing the day he was on the trails. How many times have I said this sentence right here? The clothes that Richard Allen described wearing the day he was on the trails matched the description of the man seen on the bridge from the video taken by Liberty German's phone. That it was also gathered that Richard Allen still possessed the firearms. That based on this information, investigators prepared a probable cause affidavit. That the probable cause affidavit covers all the information that law enforcement had gathered in the investigation in regards to Richard Allen up until October 13, 2022. And that's exactly what I said, too, that you got to realize that the only part on the affidavit that's new is the name Richard Allen. Richard Allen is the name of the driver of the vehicle that was parked at the abandoned CPS building. I think that's so amazing how that just kind of... I hadn't thought of this until tonight, but you just look at it like that. Doug Carter says, today we're asking for anybody who knows the name of the driver of the vehicle that was parked at the abandoned CPS building, and mentioned Hoover Highway, right? Well, guess what? They got the name of the man that was parked at the abandoned CPS building, and that's Richard Allen. He got parked there at 1:30, walked on the trails, killed Abby and Libby, and then left. Why he was doing that, we don't know. Doom, 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 doom. Well, you got to repeat stuff sometimes. T3X45, but you'll never be commenting again. So good luck to you. Good luck to you. Thank you very much. We'll welcome you with open arms when you create your new account, and we'll just end up blocking you again because you can't control yourself. Yeah, so anyways, that was it for that. Do 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 do. It does, Gene. I think Richard Allen. I mean, I'll just repeat this again because a lot of times new people show up here, and this is how it went down. Richard Allen. This is what I think happened. Richard Allen had some sort of a connection to the Kagan Klein account with the Anthony Shots profile, the Dropbox, something of that nature, and something regarding Richard Allen is why they searched the Wabash River and Kagan Klein. So it was Kagan Klein and Richard Allen, and that's why they looked for, somehow miraculously found Richard Allen during the same time they're searching the Wabash River. And if they'd already arrested Richard Allen and knew that it was him, why would they continue to search the Wabash River unless there was some sort of a connection? They would have just said, oh, Kagan, you're full of crap, man. We've already got the guy here. So I think it's very possible, based on the information, that Richard Allen owned, had a Samsung phone of some sort, or maybe he was even given the Samsung phone at some point to use at the crime scene, and that's why law enforcement was looking for photographs that may have been taken at the crime scene. And it's possible that he took pictures of what he was doing, and then Kagan Klein searched the Marathon gas station that's only 0.6 miles from Richard Allen's home on the very same day of the murders. And after the murders, Kagan Klein Richard Allen possibly gave Kagan Klein the Samsung phone that was used to film the horrific incident, the murders basically, and then gave Kagan Klein maybe the knife. And then Kagan Klein takes off with the phone. That's what he was looking for. He wanted that. You can sell those types of films for lots of money. Then throws the knife off the bridge, but he's not the killer, so he was telling law enforcement, hey. Then he goes home, and the next day he and Tony Klein, or not the next day, but like within the next 3 or 4 days, they go to Las Vegas and they sell that information. Then Kagan Klein factory resets the Samsung phone, but tells law enforcement that the phone was found in the back seat of a taxi cab, and that's why he factory reset it. And then, just a couple days, however, after, no, it's sort of interesting too, is like when they went to Vegas compared to when the image was released. You wonder if Richard Allen contacted Kagan Klein and said, hey, man, they've already got a picture of me. So anyways, he calls the tip line knowing that they've got a picture of him and 3 girls walking the trails, had already seen him walking on the trails. And he works at CVS Pharmacy, could be very recognizable to somebody, and figured he'd just get ahead of it. So he sees his picture, then he calls the tip line, and then he gets a meeting with a game warden, conservation officer, whatever the hell you want to call him. And Richard Allen tells him that he's there between 1:30 and 3:30. And that he ran into 3 girls. And then Richard Allen probably thought that would have been a moment, had people been thinking clearly, that he could have been arrested right then. Because all they would have had to say was, yes, Richard, we know you were on the bridge. We've got a picture of you from one of our trail cameras. Because nobody knew at that time where that picture came from. And Richard Allen would have said, oh yeah, yep, that's me. Exactly. Well, put your hands behind your back because that came from Libby's phone and we know you're the guy that said down the hill and abducted them. But that didn't happen. That information somehow apparently got lost somewhere. And for 5 and 6 years, Richard Allen's been sitting out, probably wasting away mentally, not like crazy, but just stressed out, thinking he's just living on borrowed time. He's like, how the hell wasn't I arrested then? Then on October 13th, 2022, when they went to his house, he went to the station and he again said he was there, but he changed the timing a little bit from 12 to 1:30, which means he wasn't even there when the 3 girls walked by him. But the 3 girls actually place him coming into the trails at 1:30-ish, like 1:35, with his head down on a mission. And then he admits to himself that he was on platform 1 on the bridge, and he'd already said he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. The girls got there at 1:49. They're dropped off. Richard Allen's already ahead of them at the bridge. The girls walk down the path. They pass another individual who has a little different description in the defense motion. But anyways, the girls are now heading towards Richard Allen, who is by himself at the bridge. I think Richard Allen then walked back down the trail a little bit as the girls approached, and the girls were like, oh, that guy's creepy. And then he waited in the woods back there, because he's not on either of the photographs taken, either the full length of the bridge shot or the one of Abby. So it's shooting both directions. You can't see him. But I think in the shot of Abby, if it was like 4K, you might have been able to make out something way back in the woods back there. As he's watching to see if anybody's coming. If anybody came, he would have called it all off. And even on the bridge, when he's walking down, he probably was looking back. Nobody's coming. And the girls were all alone at the other bridge. Sadly, Libby was there to meet this Anthony Schatz person because she really liked him. So she had all these hopes and dreams of meeting this really nice, cool dude, model guy there. And so she brought Abby as sort of support, emotional support. And that wasn't there. She saw this creepy guy. And then when she's at the other end of the bridge and she sees him coming, in her mind, she thought, oh my God, I've been duped. That's the person right there. So she flipped her camera up for a second to get some video of him and then put the camera down by her side as Abby was behind her on the bridge, gets behind her. The guy walks by. He gets behind, he says, guys. Libby says, hey. He gets behind them, pulls out a gun, has him go down the hill. And it's just such a shitty thing because there must have been a moment where she realized like all of that was crap, that she'd been talking to this person. And also like I always say often, is the fear that we've all had in our lives, that moment of absolute terror that you have when you think something's going down and then it passes and you go, oh shit. Oh, and you're breathing hard and you got through it. But in their case, they felt just like that, but it got worse and worse and worse. And one of them saw, Libby likely saw Abby get killed, and then she was killed. And that's the part where, you know, it makes me feel bad. Like when I literally think of that whole scenario, because I've felt that fear before. So you just feel like that fear never went away, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And the fear that they felt was realized. It was a real thing that really happened. I mean, it's freaking nuts. So, anyways, that's what I think right there, you guys. I don't know what you think, but I try to repeat it because I think it's pretty, you know, like most. Here's the thing. Early on in the case, I thought the killer was a lone wolf, serial killer-like person that was hunting at the bridge that day. Then when Kegan Kline came into the picture, even though I didn't, you know, it's hard to really know what to think at that point, but then it sort of takes it out of the realm. It's like, oh my God, it really was a catfishing thing. And then all of a sudden, now it's sort of back to where they haven't really told us there's an association yet, so you're back to the original, but I just can't get the association out of my mind, and it's not tunnel vision, it's just pure odds. Just ridiculous that they find, I'll repeat this part again, they find Richard Allen in September of 2017, during exactly the same time they're searching the Wabash River. And then the other coincidence is that the Anthony Shots profile only didn't get to meet Libby that day because Richard Allen was there and killed them, but they're not connected. Come on. Those two right there alone, you add those together, it can't be. I mean, when I say can't be, it can be, but whoa, would that be amazing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and put that in there too, as a coincidence. So 3 coincidences. The Marathon gas station was searched by Kegan Kline on the day of the murders. They live like 30 to 40 miles away. The Marathon gas station is 0.6 miles from Richard Allen's house. Okay? Then, they're searching the Wabash River in reference to Kegan Kline, and during that search, they stumble upon Richard Allen exactly during that time. And they didn't stop searching the Wabash River during that time, I would imagine, since it was late in the month when they stopped searching it. So why wouldn't they have done that? Then also, again, Libby only didn't get to meet Anthony Shots because another killer was there. So how about now add those 3 in there. You don't think that's crazy? Now, we don't know for certain about the Marathon gas station. That was just said in a podcast by the Murder Sheet. But they've had accurate information. So, wonder if his daughter and the girls knew each other. Well, they might have. It's a pretty small town. But she was a little bit older. I think she's, I don't know. How old is she at the time? I don't remember. Maybe 20. Yeah, she's older. So, well, that's it, everybody. That's all I got for you tonight. There was some Koberger information, but maybe we'll do that one tomorrow or something. Well, thanks, Joshua Long. Do you think the defense is making up the prison guard? Yeah, absolutely. There's no chance in hell that prison guards were wearing Odin patches. Okay, let's just get that. That's total garbage. You know, the funniest part of the whole document was when they said, oh, Richard Allen was like, I don't even remember exactly, but it was like scared, feared for his life, and man, he was doing, and they go, and at the footnote says, well, Richard Allen didn't really say these things, but he sure would have if he, it's like, give me a break. Yeah, he didn't actually say this, so. No, you missed it? Oh. With enough time to get to the gas station. Yeah, cell phones, you can just leave your phone at home. You can do all kinds of stuff. Can they be held in contempt for making that up? Yeah, what do you guys think of that 360, guys? Here, let's do that again for the people just getting here. See, this is a clear version because this is 57K or whatever. YouTube only lets you upload it 4K. So is it frozen now because it's such a big file? I don't know if it'll play. Oh, there you go. See, I turned on the smooth thing. I think I needed to do that when I went to the Brian Koberger. Isn't it amazing, these cameras? Jeez, they're just... See, there's Kelsey, my wife. So she actually, we took her to lunch with her husband over in Monticello, and she said, hey, you guys want to go? I can take you to the bridge and show you, I can take you to the crime scene. So we walked. I mean, she actually has her baby with her on the front there. It's not, it's if you're staying out in here, there's no danger or anything like that, unless you're one of the people that believes in the Odinites, okay? You know, Richard Allen's in prison, so this is a place where people hike and stuff. So here's the, there's this really worn trail that goes through there. Yeah, if you believe in the Odinites, everything's dangerous. I didn't make it a call-in show. Somebody might have tried calling, but it wasn't. I didn't mean it to be. I did too. I want to figure out a way to have the 360 on the bottom of the camera, though. What do you mean you didn't know where to look? You just look around, whatever you want to look at. What are you talking about? I didn't know where to look. You can look at wherever you want to. But I have it set up where it goes straight. See how it goes straight? You can look at that if you want to. Yeah, it does go to the crime scene. I'm about 50, 60 yards short of it, though. I thought... I was explained that there's a lot of poison. I don't know if it's ivy or oak or whatever the hell it is out here, but this stuff over here on the sides, it kind of shows up. Oh yeah. They were back there talking back there. What's your thought on these Facebook messages about BK that are from 2014? I don't know. I don't know what ones you're talking about, Jeff. Kind of looking at Delphi right now, though. What do you mean backdate them? What do you mean? Anybody can backdate anything. You can do anything with images. Hey, Wilco, he is involved. There's no chance that Richard Allen wasn't involved. The man on the bridge is Richard Allen, and he's the one that said, guys down the hill. Okay? So just try to get that straight in your own mind so you don't have to waste people's time. Now, he didn't find shit, Jeff. Okay? Okay, that guy doesn't find anything, so don't type his name in over here. Thank you. Jesus, how could you possibly think he went and found something? Unbelievable. Somebody may have sent him something. He didn't go find the damn thing. This is clearer here than it is on YouTube. Yeah, so right about now, we're probably like over here. There's the crime scene. We're just kind of standing about right there. Yeah, sure, Jeff. But don't pretend that somebody found anything. He probably created fake crap for sensationalistic reasons. Yeah. So when you're getting up here, there's this deep ravine. It literally has like a 45-degree angle. Look at Wilco. You're just wrong. Okay, can you stop with that crap? Took video of Richard Allen. Someone else appears and was recorded. Oh Jesus. Oh God, man. Where do these people come from, man? Use common sense, okay? If you type in anything like that again, we'll time you out so we can remove all your ridiculous comments. I don't mind your craziness, but it's just, you know, you keep repeating it over and over again. And at that point, it's like, yeah. What a ridiculous. I mean, look at all your comments up there. I mean, they're insane. It is his voice, though. The guy on the bridge says, guys, down the hill. The wacko that made the book on Ron Logan is putting out stuff so that you guys believe it, and it's bull crap, okay? So this hill is really steep. Look how steep it is. That's the angle of this hill. I mean, what is that? That's got to be 45 degrees, right? And they're at the top up there. And coming down here, yeah, let me move it. There was one in this 2012 shot was really good. There's the ravine right there. See, here's the cemetery. That ravine that's really, you can actually see how it kind of bends. It's not totally perfect, but you can see that it's definitely a deep ravine right there. So we'll be crossing over that. I think I make it to about right here, and the crime scene's right there. So I didn't quite make it back into the spot, but I make it to, you know, somewhere right around in this area right there. Yeah, you can say whatever you want, Wilco, but it's total bullshit, okay? Jesus. I've been sure of myself and proven wrong. Man, that's... I can just tell you you're wrong because law enforcement has said that the man that you're seeing is the person responsible, and there isn't two voices, it's one and it's his, right? Then, yeah, I mean, that's it. And the people that have seen the video said the same thing. That he walks by, he says, guys, Libby says, hey, he walks back around and says, pulls out a gun and says, down the hill. Okay, so it's all known. I know you're probably new to the case or whatever, so yeah. So anyways, the ravine's back there. So here's a hill here. The ravine's there. The crime scene is, I think, right in here, near these trees. Right in there. That's where the crime scene is. So I'm kind of back a little bit here. And like I said, where I am, I'm probably like right here. And so, you know, looking over there, there's the crime scene. This is the little ravine that I just went over. And I could be maybe like right there-ish. I don't know how far I walk. You know what we could do is, if I could figure out, let me go back a little bit from when we're at the ravine. So this right at the top of it, and then I'll look at my feet and kind of guess it. Let's see. Isn't that weird how you can do that? Let's see. 16. Let's see. So I was like probably 6 feet right there. 9, 12, 3, 4. So those are shorter. I usually take like a yard per step. Let me go back again. Yeah. Well, I think they probably used what they really saw at the crime scene. Because that's been known since the beginning. There was nothing new other than the F that wasn't an F. That was on the tree. The F was already known too, right? So that was already known. So let me look down here again. Okay. One, okay, that was 2. So let's just say that's 4 feet, 5, 6, 6. All right. I'm holding that. The sticks are invisible that you hold those cameras up with. Okay, 6. So that's going to be like 2.5 feet there. So that's 16 feet. Probably that's only 2. 18. Probably 20. 22. 24. 26. 28. 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 38 feet. Oh, geez. 40, 42, 44. My stomach just went, 46, 48, 50, 52, 54, okay, 56, 58, 60. Did I go any further after that? So 60 feet. All right, okay, 62, 64. I think that was it. Right? So I think I went back. All right, so about like 64 feet from the right here. So maybe it's not as far. Let's just see. So maybe like right here. It's hard to say though. Does it come down over here? Let's just say right there. And feet, that's 100, so I might have only made it to like maybe in this area. So the crime scene might have been a little bit further. It's hard to say, you know. So I guess I only made it to about right there. Unfortunately. Should have dressed for the occasion. We didn't know we were even going to go here. It was just last minute type of. But I think the crime scene is probably like right over here. It's right in there. Definitely, it's 50 feet from the water, right around in that area back there. Because he knew he was seen there. That's why he admitted it. Nothing is off. See, Wilco is one of those people that say, something just isn't right. Something just isn't adding up. Use that trail that day. No. Like I said earlier, this has nothing to do with anything. This trail wasn't even there really back then. Just a really just sparse trail. People have used it to get there. It has nothing to do with anything. This trail isn't part of the case. This one right here. I think that's more than 60 feet, just looking at that. I don't know. Probably didn't do that right. Probably more like 90 or something. Let's see, there's that tree right there. I wonder if that tree is visible. Ooh, shit. Maybe that's right there. Let's see what it looks like in 2017 April. I wonder if that's it. Right here. Where that comes out. It's hard to say. Like that kind of looks like that might be these. But then it also could be like right here maybe. Yeah, who knows. All right, man. That was kind of an old school sort of show tonight, right? I don't believe Richard Allen for sure wasn't involved, but I don't think it was just him. Yeah, it could be. There could be somebody else that was at the crime scene. Richard Allen is the only person on the bridge. He's the only person that said guys down the hill. He's the one that abducted them. That's why he has felony murder. If there was somebody at the crime scene, we don't know. There's no evidence suggesting there is. So you can believe there's somebody there if you want to. There's just no information or evidence whatsoever to suggest that. Okay? All right, so here's the thing. Is a lot of us have been doing this for the case the whole time. So the stuff that came out in this document were all the crazy conspiracy theories that a bunch of YouTubers have been putting out for years. And I think they're the consultants for the defense team. All right, there's a guy named Robert Lindsay who had you can find him out there. He has a blog. They actually used his stuff. That's what he's claiming, that he literally worked with them. I mean, how ridiculous is that? Yeah. He passed them in Libby's video. I didn't see that happen. Yeah. Here, let me show you. This video right here is exact. I've talked to somebody who watched the video. Two different people actually. One of them actually was secondhand, like they literally talked to the person, and then I've actually heard from one of the people who has seen the video. Okay. And I've talked to another person who has seen it, but they wouldn't tell me what was on it. Like Robert Ives, for example. He's seen it. He doesn't say what was on it. Here, I'll show you what, and I made a video a long time ago.
Let's all take a moment and thank Gray for creating the best and most successful honest YouTube channel. His morals plus values are second to none.
Well, thank you.
Respect.
Even though people don't like me 90% of the time, right? All right, here we go. Here we go. This is a different version of the same thing. Let me just find the original one. That one's not very good. Delphi 3D animation. Where's the second one? Man, it used to be just pop right up there. Well, anyways, I guess we'll have to figure out where it is.
Further, they were found right here. Okay.
All right.
Hustling to catch up. You know, he might have been, she might have been back here a little bit further. I don't know. Down the hill, and.
Oh, this is a long time ago.
You know, Derek,
this is 5 years ago.
When he returned, he called at 3:11. Time that hopefully
I don't know if I ever
will
played in
get
this
answered.
one.
Playing it?
See, that's what it looked like out there for the people that wanted to know. That's what it looked like
Way
back
over
then.
there.
The
Okay,
trees.
so let's get a visual of that. See, here's the bend that you're looking at.
I
right
can't
there.
find that thing. Hold on a second. Grant Hughes, Delphi, 3D, animation. Man, it's just sort of disappeared. Used to be right there, but at the top. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's way down there now. Though. Okay, so this is what it looked. This is what it. This is. These are what. This is what happened on the bridge that we know about. Libby took a full-length shot of the bridge and got this photograph from it. Richard Allen. Nobody's on the bridge, in front. See that? There's nobody there, right? Then they continue to walk. You know, Libby's probably encouraging Abby because Abby's never been on the bridge. Libby's been there many times. Then she steps up on platform 3 here and then takes a picture back towards Abby, who is on the bridge. She's closer than that. She's only 13 feet away or so. And Libby's standing on platform 3 right on the edge there. Takes that photograph. And then they continue down the trail. The bridge. So they're on the bridge. Now I think at some point, see back here, I have a small Richard Allen. He's way in the back. He's hustling now. He's trying to catch up. Abby's slow. Takes him another 6 minutes to get from the 207 photograph off the end of the bridge. And then he's right on them. He's just hauling ass down here. And he's only about 60 feet away in this video. And then he comes by, and Abby's still on the bridge in that video that Libby took. They cut her out there. So Beck, you know, there's people out. I mean, like family members, like Becky and other people have seen it, and they'll just say stuff like, "Hey, watch Gray's video. That's how it went." All right. It's just that the camera is filming low, so you see the feet of the killer walking by. Now, we don't mind opposing views, Wilco, but your opposing view is not well thought out, and it's dumb. Okay, that's what I'm telling you. All right. Now, you might not like me for telling you that, but your opinion is not intelligent, because I know that you're wrong. You know, like when you know somebody's absolutely wrong, and they just can't. They'll just keep talking and talking and talking, and they're wrong. That's what's going on here, Wilco. All right. So there's 0 chance that you're correct. Just letting you know. You can keep talking about it for weeks and weeks, and well, that's fine, Gray. It's still my opinion. Well, you're welcome to have it. You're just wrong. Okay. You know, like technically wrong. All right. It's awesome. But yeah, your comments are still sitting there. Nobody's deleted them. Yeah, I know. You keep saying you're just questioning. No, you're not. You're saying stuff as if it's logical what you're saying, but it's not. Okay? You can tell people and spread all the stuff you want. Or you can just learn and go, oh, wow, okay, cool. And then move forward with that new information. That's what I'm saying. Right, that's exactly right, Amber. I don't know. That's why I get frustrated sometimes, you know. Yeah, the rest of you don't need to be talking to Wilco. I mean, I'm arguing with him, and I know some of you have been discussing with him, so that's fine. But the rest of you, I don't like to, you know, we don't need to pile on and stuff like that. Yeah, there's no. Oh yeah, those tunnels under the bridge. Yeah, yeah. There's tunnels everywhere, man. There's tunnels in Moscow, Idaho, under the house, for example. It's amazing. Those tunnels, boy. If there weren't tunnels before, they'll just put them right under there. You know, I think what's going on here, everybody, is people start digging tunnels under crime scenes after the fact. Because it's such a cool story. Yeah. Right, Wilco. You're not arguing. Okay, you're not arguing. You just keep saying the same thing in the face of completely, you know, like it debunks what you're saying. So at some point, you got to listen, you know, as Mag typed in there. You just listen and go, oh, okay, shit. I was just guessing there, but yeah, I'm wrong there. All right, let me think about this. Let me think about that. Maybe, you know, keep adding to your. That's what we do here. You know, but for example, if tomorrow somebody said, "Well, law enforcement is determined there's another person," I would go, "Oh shit. Okay, well, how about that?" And we just move forward. It would suck because that's the opposite of what they've said and what people have said was on the video. So it's like there's zero chance of that happening. But you just got to keep moving forward instead of getting stuck in your own mind. You've said, hey, Wilco, you've said the same thing like 9 times already. Okay. And you're gaslighting now. So just do something else. All right. Talk about something else. Thank you. Odin. Yeah, I've been repetitive. Oh, jeez. Okay. That's a... didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that one. Hold on a second. Where is that person? Nobody's lying. You've repeated the same thing 15 times. I didn't mean to hide him. So he's unhidden, but the... Now you're lying! Yeah, go up and read your comments. You kept saying the same thing. Let me see. When was this count created? Well, it's a reasonable amount of time. Reasonable amount of time. The Cal Vasante Perunerga. You have, man. I read them. You said at least 3 or 4 times about the. Yeah. How do we know there isn't another voice, a different person there? Yeah, how do we know that that isn't... Well, I explained how we know, and then you kept going. So at that point, we know that you're not listening. Yeah, my thing is, I think Richard Allen is the kill. This is my opinion. You didn't, Wilco. You rephrased it 3 different times. Anyways, my opinion is that Richard Allen is a kidnapper and the sole killer. Now, and I think, however, he has a connection to the Kagan Klein, Anthony Schatz stuff, or at least the Dropbox, or something associated with Kagan Klein. But is there somebody else at the crime scene? I don't know. None of us know the answer to that question. You know, in the woods after crossing the creek, is there somebody else? Don't know. Okay, I'm gonna remove you, Wilco. Sorry, man. See, these are the trolls, I can tell you. It's crazy. Am I like not seeing this right, you guys? Didn't he type in like 3 or 4 times a different version of the wording? God. You're lying, Gray. Actually, let me scroll up. I'll just do the debunking live. All right, hold on. Let me roll up there. I'm on the side of something that makes sense. Jesus. How could he be so strong and efficient to pull this off and yet dumb enough to admit to being... That was actually later. Hold on. Man, it's like almost spamming the chat here. Took video of Richard Allen. Someone else appeared and was recorded talking. Took video of Richard Allen. Huh? Who? Who did? I agree that's him. What if the recording of his voice isn't? Well, it is. And then you said, took video of Richard Allen. Someone else appeared and was recorded talking. I don't know. For some reason, I can't scroll down. Not sure what happened. Oh, yeah. And then, okay, man, I'm just saying. No, that was way lower. I can't scroll up. There's a whole bunch of them now up here. I agree that's him. What if the recording of his voice isn't? That's the second time you've said that. Okay. Then, took video of Richard Allen. Someone else appeared and was recorded and talking. That's the second time. Maybe the wife... That was somebody else. Oh, man. I'm saying I've been sure of myself and proven wrong. Hopefully, we get a trial sooner. Okay, yeah. How could he be so strong and efficient to pull this off and yet dumb enough to admit to bring her to the exact... admit to being there in the exact outfit? Right, because he already admitted to being there. That is kind of dumb, though. And this one said, I don't believe Richard Allen for sure wasn't involved, but I don't think it was just him. Right. So you're kind of like repeating yourself, rephrasing it over and over again. But nobody saw the moment, and we don't have all the footage, man. Right. Well, they do see the moment. See, the thing is, Libby held the phone up and filmed the suspect coming. Then put the phone down by her side. Then you see Abby's legs go off the screen, and then the person comes by, and I think she said you could maybe see something like on his legs or something. I don't know if it was legs, but you could hear him come up and say, because he's right there, he's right behind Abby, and he says, guys. Then you hear the crunching, him walk by, and the crunching of his feet, and then he says, down the hill. Okay? So that's all real things. Like you can believe whatever you want, but yeah. And then you said we don't tolerate opposing views. Yeah, we don't mind opposing views if they're critically thought out, but when you just sort of rambling and randomly throw out stuff that just isn't true, then that's when it doesn't work, right? Anybody can say whatever the hell they want. Yeah, you think that's the same person, Blair? Yeah, she's nuts. Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, hey, I was about to get out of here a few minutes ago, so I think this would be a good time. You're shutting your eyes, Zozo? Have you ever thought of the theory that there was a veritable football team in the woods that day? I mean, how do we know there wasn't 7,500 Odinites languishing on the far banks of Deer Creek that day? how do we know which one was which? They all dress in the exact same clothing. So maybe Richard Allen was just one of the players on that football team, wearing exactly the same outfit. We just don't know at this point, but we're sure as hell gonna find out. Maybe at a trial. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think anybody cares. See, I don't mind opposing views when they're like really well thought. Like if you went like this. Yeah, I mean, I think it's possible that Richard Allen he's the one that kidnapped them and forced them across the creek even, but he's not the one that killed them. I can say, well, it's a possibility, and it's not even remote, it's not even a wild theory. That's something that absolutely is possible because there's nothing countering it. But to sit there and make up stuff that we already know isn't true isn't cool. And nobody has Wilco. You're gaslighting everybody here. It's go on and watch the replay. Have a good night, freaks. Yeah. Anyways, thanks everybody for being here tonight and helping support the channel. And I think we might actually have another DNA case that we're going to be doing. I mentioned at the beginning of the show where they actually found flesh of a person in a sewer system with nothing identifiable but actual tissue, which will be a good DNA source. It might not even cost that much. And we'll be able to identify and figure out what in the hell might have happened to this person. Pretty crazy, right? So, on this channel, as Amber Maiden said, we actually make a difference. Get your ice cream. All right. So thank you to Lori Go Cowboys, Lori Go Cowboys, A Blank Slate, Amber Maiden, Cindy J, Eugenie, Your Gypsy, Joel Sane, Don, Circa Then, Marion Olson, Tamster, LM, Kathy Chapin, Janet Drums, Robert Richburg, Tamster, K. Me, Tanya M, Margie, Linda Howe, as in Linda Molden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations in Crop Circles. I didn't say there was an update, Zoza. It's not in the description, is it? I said there was something about Cobra we can talk about him tomorrow. Linda Howe, Gwendolyn B, Joel Sane, again, Mo S, CR, Michelle Marie, Robin Lane, Ashley Snow, EI Rule, CR Mag, Charlotte Denny, WNC Granny, CR Eugenie, Mag again, Kathy Chapin, Carrie, Danielle, CR gifted 5 memberships, Periwinkle, Pepperoni, Amanda Wolf, new member, Allie 79, Deborah Don, M10, Kami, Live Free or Die, Gloria Batard. I think there's a couple other. Don't see it. They're not in there. But anyways, thank you guys very much, and we got to the goal and then some. So we kind of made up for a little bit of one of the other nights. That'd be great, and that was awesome. So hopefully we got another. Today's the 25th. We got the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, and then the 30th is our last night. The one last push of the month, and hopefully we can get. I might give a bigger chunk this month, all like to identifiers, just to get that one covered right away, and then give some to other places. I think maybe the Innocence Project this month or something. Or we could do maybe. I think we did Black and Missing somewhat recently. Yeah, I don't think it was too bad of a stream, Even the battling back and forth with the the crazy Wilco. I mean, man, that was good stuff. Well, the one girl said that she came up to his shoulder, so she must be tiny. That's one of the things that I took from the original search, or the affidavit, was that one of the girls said that her head went up to his shoulder. So she must be like 4'6" or something. But how does somebody even remember? You know, you're standing over on this side and somebody's walking by. You know, you don't really know. So, all right, everybody. Thank you very much for being here tonight. We will see you tomorrow. And, as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there.
Yeah, I've been doing
Good
this
night,
for
everybody.
quite a while now.
Gee.
And during this whole time,
A little bit early there, Mary Lou.
Oh, okay, thanks.
That is a crime dissector, flag rejector.
I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get you on a stretcher.
If you try and play me like an
old projector.
Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector.
Full reflector, interceptor.
And I mean a...
Well, I just thought of something. Hold on a second. I got to thank some other people here. Forgot the... we'll have to start that one over. So thank you to Lillian and Nicole on PayPal there. Thank you. Yeah. Anyways, back to this.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector.
Oh, and the new patron,
certified human lie
Nicole,
detector.
so thank you.
Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray
Gray's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector. And I'm always gonna be a bubble
fool deflector.
Interceptor. Read a little spectre with a vector.
On his vector.
Hey, thanks, Wilco.
Just remember, I have a temple fucking check.
Roger Wilco.
I have no agenda. I'm no pretender.
And I'm serving you straight without that window.
And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to...
But come on, you don't have to send me
offender.
anything. You sound like you didn't like me, man.
Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody?
But anyways, thanks anyway. Yeah. Like I said, it's okay over here. You can have a different opinion, but just try to have it well thought out. Like if it's already disproven your opinion, then, you know, time to move on, right? All right. Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for being here. Appreciate it. And as I always say, everybody, until next time.
Be safe out there.
How come I'm supposed to say, be safe out there?
Well, I want to say it too. Good night, everybody. Gee.
Okay. Here we go. I don't like you. Who cares? Yeah, it's like grade school, you know. I don't like Gray, but I like that person. Yeah. Anyways, we'll see you guys tomorrow, all right? Be safe out there. Hey, is there any views on that 3D video that I put out? The 360 one? I haven't been able to see it. It looked like it sort of started off okay. I haven't seen it. We'll go check. Bye-bye.